This is Batman calling from Wayne Manor with a special announcement. From the great halls of their house, there are assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher, and their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicky Fisher, and our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Scripchuk. Their mission: to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team.
Welcome to the Semi-Drunk Garage Heroes in Training podcast. I'm your host for this episode, and my name is Bill. Who's hosting?
I'm Vicky.
I'm Jennifer.
And I'm the scared host. Well, we had a plan. we were going to have a guest on for this episode. And then the guest said, hey, I've got two ducks coming to the episode. And I'm like, okay, he ducks cars every time we go to a race. No problem. The little rubber duck. How bad can it be? All of a sudden, popping up on Zoom, there's this black screen. Screen says Amanda. And I'm like, his name is Alex. This is quite puzzling. And then, boom, I see Alex Levinson and Amanda Tully returning guests. And then I hear a third voice, besides the parrot, which we'll hear routinely throughout this episode. And then I see someone committing adultery. It's Donnie Petrunak.
Hey, guys.
Hey, how you doing? How's it going?
Wow. So, welcome to the I have no idea what's going to happen podcast, and we will see what goes on here. So
This is where the guest likes to say, we're going to flip the script on you
very well.
and go ahead and just surprise you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And all we want to see is smiles per miles on you.
No problem. No problem. Well, so let's see. The last time we spoke about Amanda was like 24 hours ago because she came up during one of our podcasts. The last one that came was driving forward together. We started making fun of Amanda only finishing second, first, having a bad year, obviously only beating close to 500 other cars. So that's a problem. And then the last time we talked about Alex, you were sleeping outside, recovering from somebody trashing your Miata at a Charlotte Motor Speedway on the Roval.
That is correct.
Which, if anybody got to watch on TV this weekend, they approached the Roval a whole different way than we did, because they were basically using the curbs as jumps like Evel Knievel. It was amazing. So what's the progress with your Miata, sir? Is it back?
So right now I'm in quote unquote litigations with my insurance company over repaired damages.
Mm-hmm.
But in the interim, I had located a new fender for the car, got it, and installed it on the car. And then forever I was being made fun of for 2 red stripes and some numbers being painted on it that I did not clean up.
Well,
And,
I mean, honestly, that's an upgrade, because usually you're made fun of other things. So at least you gave them something to focus away from you.
Well, I mean, the hairdryer and the hairbrush are still in the car, and people still make fun of me for it.
All right, very well.
But, I mean, I do great hairdos and blowouts. So, lady, if you need a good blowout, I know a guy.
Yeah, yeah.
So this past weekend, though, I was tied up by my team, and they decided that they can no longer stand looking at my car in the sorry state that it was. And through powers not in my control, they decided to go ahead and give a full detailing on the front end of it, getting rid of the pinstriping and the number markings, and actually making the fender look somewhat presentable.
Better than the driver.
It was just annoying them.
Yeah, but I mean, the door is still hit. I need to find a replacement door for it. I don't even think I'm going to spend the energy on it. But pretty much, I think after this winter, the car is getting turned into a race car.
Really?
Yeah, it's time to make that jump. There's a cage sitting at our home base that has been waiting to go into a Miata for about 3 years, and I just never have pulled the trigger on it. And I now have someone that can weld, So I think we're going to pull the trigger on it.
For those at home, which type of Miata are we dealing with?
This is a 2000 NB Miata, or a second gen. This is the first part of the second gen before they put the VVT into the engine. So this is a 99 2000. So we have a whole whopping 93 wheel horsepower on this thing. So it is a monster, let me tell you something. It eats up vets like no tomorrow at Thompson.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, that's why you wear that neck support, not because you're worried about accidents. It's just to keep your head screwed on with all that thrust on the way to the track. So, yeah.
110%. I mean, you go hurtling into corners way too fast, and the car doesn't know what to do with all the power. It just doesn't.
I mean, luckily you're man enough to be able to handle that. So that's, a tribute to your skills.
Are you going to take it to a skid pad?
So I may or
be able to
may
go to
not
skid.
use legitimate skid pads when I'm in that car. Let's just drop that one there and leave it there. There might be some Instagram posts from way yonder years of me doing donuts in front of my old employer at some point or another in that car. So you have to.
Was this near Poughkeepsie, perhaps?
No, this wasn't. Oh, funny story about Poughkeepsie. So mall security up at Poughkeepsie does not like me. And it all comes to this one security guard there. One day I decided to come into the parking lot a little too hot. It was about 9 a.m. There was no one parked in there on a Sunday morning. And I decided to get the car sideways a little bit and make a little smoke and a little noise and have a little fun and a little counter steer. And then I just slowly careen the car into a parking spot, stop the car. I don't pay notice of who's looking at it or whatnot. There's no one there pretty much, except for this one security guard that's just eyeing me with the devil eye. So I collect my stuff. I get out of my car, got my Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I got my sausage, egg, and cheese, and I got my backpack, and I got my protein shake. And I'm like, all right, dude, I'm ready to do this today at work. So I go ahead, get out of my car, all manly-like, put my comb down, close the door. Then I start careening towards the entrance to RPM up in Poughkeepsie. And this guy storms up on me, and I kid you not, like he was a messenger from God. And he had words for me that I did not understand. I know your type. I know what you're doing. You're going to wait right here with me. I'm calling the cops. That was illegal what you did. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you did that on intention. I know your type. I know you racers. And I look at him like, what? I lost control of my car, and thankfully I regained it before I went ahead and put it to the side of a pole on your private property where something bad could have happened to me. No, you did that on purpose. And I mean, this went on to a point where I looked at him like, all right, dude, call the cops, have them come. I'm late for work. I'll be inside. Come in and see me over there because I need to open up this shop. Because if I don't, your employer and my landlord is going to be really mad at me. So I legitimately walk away from the security guard.
Did he tackle you?
And, well, no, he didn't touch me. Oh,
Did he tase you?
Nope, didn't tase me. Didn't tackle me.
I'm upset now.
It would have been funny if he did that, but no, he didn't do that. However, what happened within the hour is actually kind of even more funny. So I get inside, I count the drawers, I get my team ready, I get my track guys set up for the day. We did our track walk. We made sure the tension on the track was good, cleaned up all the marbles from the day before. I got the customer service reps all set up. And then all of a sudden, the security guard shows back up. But this time, he's got backup.
Oh, jeez.
And by backup, he's got 6 other security guards with him.
Oh, God.
That's a lot of segues.
And so I'm sitting there.
Well, you did get out of a Miata very manly.
Yes. And I dropped my hair comb into it. So that's part of it. So they're all coming up there. Where's the boss? We want to talk to the manager. One of your employees did blah, 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 blah. I mean, like totally frantic, redhead, like looked like a warhead head just blowing up, hat going off, steam through the ears. And I turn around and I look at him like, I run this facility. What do you need?
Oh.
And guy did not like that one. He went on a loop or whatnot. his backup actually had to drag him out of the store because he was so livid. And like the two that hung by that were not pulling his back, they're like, oh, we can't stand this guy. He makes such big deals out of nothing. I'm like, dude, like, in all honesty, if he had come up to me like a human and been like, hey, dude, did you really need to go ahead and put your car sideways coming into our parking lot and be a jack, quote, quote, quote? And then at that point, the conversation would have been different. The whole experience would have been different. But no, this guy had to go ahead and play his card like he was the fist of God, and I just was not having it. So watching him get pulled out by 4 of his friends is very interesting. And then these two, they're sitting there and we're snickering. And the next thing you know, for the next 45 minutes, we're joking around so much. I look at him like, listen, when you get off shift, come in here. Let's go ahead and throw you a few races. I may or may not break some rules.
So can't help but use it. Speaking of the fist of God, Donnie, what have you been up to?
Well, besides getting fisted.
Yeah, besides just getting fit, dark alleyway. It's
Should I leave you
Nope.
two alone?
no.
Absolutely not.
Please don't.
That was a cry for help, and I like this.
Please.
Um,
We'll have no chance of this going out in video.
my life as of late has been just disassembling a parts car that I bought to take the drivetrain and put it into my race car, the HHR that I purchased from Rust Belt Racing, because at CMP we blew the input shaft on the transmission, so the bell housing will fill with transmission fluid when the vehicle's running. It's a great thing to see trans fluid flying out of a starter housing.
As long as
But,
you have a few gallons in there, you're fine.
I'm sorry?
As long as you have a few gallons in there, you're good to go.
Oh, yeah. The idea of just overflowing the trans and making sure it had fluid was there, but it didn't seem sanitary. But I've got a Saturn Ion Redline that's giving its life for the race car. So it's going to get a little bit more power and an LSD transmission and everything. And
Can I have a run?
yes, you can play with it when it's done. It's already got the bigger brakes and everything on it, but I'm also chasing faults with my street car, Saturn Ion Redline, and my Trans Am is also giving me a bunch of issues. So right now I think I own 15 cars and maybe 1 or 2 run reliably.
Situation normal.
Yeah.
When did Saturn make a Trans
every
Am?
day, yeah. Well, I pulled the motor out of the Trans Am to put a clutch in it, and when the motor was out, we decided, well, I'm gonna put head gaskets on it because it's got 140,000 miles on it, and they haven't been gentle miles. And if I'm doing a head gasket, I'm pulling the front cover off, so I might as well put a timing set in it. So that
Or you
went.
could put a cheetah cam.
So that turned into me calling comp and getting a bigger cam and putting aluminum racing heads on it. And
This is the definition of, while I'm at it,
Yeah.
I may as well.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. What started as a $350 GM Performance Parts clutch
$30,000 later.
turned into $8,000 at Summit Racing.
It's a logical step.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's just a rabbit hole, and yeah.
How far down do you want to go down it?
but it makes 500 wheel horsepower now, which is nice.
Very jealous.
It's an LS motor. You throw any parts at them, they make 500
It's like a 4G63. You look at it sideways.
Yeah.
I don't even have 100 in my car.
I could give you 100 horsepower and still have plenty of power.
Wait a second. Are you giving me the 100 horsepower the hard way?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
So Mandy still might want to leave. No.
Amanda's not going to ask next time. She's just going to walk.
So Amanda, what have you been up to?
Save us.
So I was
Outside of bringing this on
That's
yourself.
so I was like, I really need an open car trailer to, move various things, places. So I'm like, hey, Donnie, you're coming to New Hampshire, so you could possibly find a car trailer and bring it up with you. It just so happened that he needed to use a car trailer to bring the Lexus to its final destination. So he did that. And then my cousin calls me while Donnie's in Virginia and lets me know that his car that got damaged at a driver training day at NJMP, he took a bus there to try to drive the car back to my house for my friend to look at it to fix the car. Because I don't do body work. And he tries to drive it. He drives it not very far. It pukes coolant all over the place. He tries to call AAA. AAA tells him that they don't allow passengers due to COVID, and they will not bring the car to Long Island because it's too much of a risk. So click. So they hang up on him. So my cousin and his car are stranded near NJMP, and Donnie's just going to drive right by with this car trailer that I just purchased. So Donnie got to rescue my cousin and his vehicle, and now I have my cousin's car and a car trailer and a Donnie.
And a Donnie is hanging out.
Yeah,
And don't worry, cousin's car is a cheater's car too.
yeah, it's a cheaty BMW E46, and now I have all of the things.
Well, I think
Thank you, Donnie.
So before we go any further,
Oh, like we're in control
I
of
know.
this podcast.
Why don't we do
Gotta be. Somebody's
That's
gotta be.
Oh, wait a second. We need
that's right. Why
adults.
don't
Yeah.
we do a little round robin over there on what your teams are so people can associate who we're discussing to the rest of our audience who do not know.
All right.
Okay.
Who wants to start?
Don,
Hold on.
Ladies,
Hold on. This is rock, paper, scissors. That's 2 out of 3. All right.
they don't have that kind of time, Alex.
You're assuming we can count to 3.
Very easy. 1, 2, 3, boom. All right. Paper.
That's right. So Alex, how about you?
Okay. So my name is Alex Levinson.
That's right.
At least I hope.
Not in this podcast. It's
So I've been involved majorly a part of 2 Lemons teams for quite a while since my introduction to the series back in 2016. The first and foremost car was the Rue CFI Miata, the number 101. It was a green Miata with a red Ford Mustang hood as a roof. And people in the Northeast would know what car it is. So we did a DIY ECU tuning. And we made our own affordable open source DIY ECUs through it. Didn't quite catch on the way it should be, but Andre is working very hard at it. And then while this was all going on, there was my first race. I remember seeing this car, which I'm actually racing now. It's this powder blue Mazda Miata, 1993, 92. They run a 1.6, but I remember seeing them on track, and they were wicked fast for a Miata. And funnily enough, 2018, at the end of the Thompson race, I get approached by this gentleman named Ryan and his buddy Matt and a few other on the team. And we were talking left and right, and I thought nothing about it. And they dropped this little thing into my ear where, hey, we're planning on doing Road of Atlanta in December. You in? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? And so I go down the Road of Atlanta with DNF Racing and their number 90 light blue powder coated Miata. And actually, Bill, this is where you and me met because Dave Carpenter and Aaron introduced us.
Yep.
So, yep.
Hate those guys. I mean, that was great.
Oh, God. Cheaters. Totally cheaters. Oh. So I got a fix to this team, and it's not that I've owned either of the cars, but the problem is what I get into is the moment that I jump onto a team, I dedicate at least one full day of my free time to working on the car because, I mean, what we do, it takes a lot to go ahead and keep us going. And it's not something where you simply put the thing away wet and not do anything. I mean, there's constant work that needs to be done, evolutions on cars. And DNF, what I didn't realize is they were fast, but they were doing a lot of wrong things, causing them to go ahead and have reliability issues. And one of our teammates, he's very adamant about reliability. And since my introduction to the team and the knowledge base I have on Miatas, I've kind of backwards engineered what they engineered into the car, and they engineered more complications and fail points than simplicity and track time. And so coming into this season, we're finally at a good point where the car's reliable. It's basically going to go ahead and come down to driver and driver alone if something messes up. And hopefully everything goes smoothly here. We're about to introduce a hopeful fourth member onto our team, and he's probably the only person that I consistently want to race with, and that's my buddy Ethan. And
What is their team?
so Ethan was part of the RUCFI Miata.
Okay.
And so the RUCFI Miata was Andre, Ethan, and myself. And then we've had a few arrive and drives, and then we had Ethan's father, Rich, come into the team. And Ethan's the master mechanic behind everything. He worked for Mazda for about 9 years, and then he'd been jumping between Lexus and Toyota for a few years. And I think he's working for Lexus right now, even through COVID. And so with our car, we all have responsibilities, and bringing Ethan into the mix is the missing piece of what we need. Okay. And we need the person that can literally tear down the engines and transmissions, rebuild them. So our whole plan is after New Hampshire is go ahead and entice and put the carrot in front of Ethan and seduce him and go ahead and
Amanda's chuckling.
Comfort his wife over the fact that financially he wants to keep racing. This is the cheapest way with us. And I've never steered Ethan wrong, and I've never steered Amy wrong. And I love them both. They're legitimately like a second family to me. So I think we can talk him into it. And then after New Hampshire, we're dumping off 2 1.6 engines to Ethan and 2 transmissions. Been like, hey, here you go. This is your job.
Ah.
So, but yeah, so Miatas are what I do. And I've been known for my hairdryer, my hair combs and hairbrushes, and I'm slow.
Yeah, that's what you think you're known for. Okay, go ahead.
Hey, Amanda. So just give them people a little shout out to your team name.
So I am Amanda Tully, and I have Mome Wrath Racing, which has been other names before that, but right now it's Mome Wrath Racing, and we won 3 out of 4 races last year, so we had a bad year. And then this year, my car decided that it didn't want to car, but it's actually good because it allowed someone else to finally win, which was really good. So
what ended up happening to the car?
The pressure plate decided to, like, it was just weak, and it would not allow the clutch to disengage. So comically, we took, so basically Jamie tries to take the car from Brandon down pit road. Car is now stuck. Like, the clutch is just stuck. It's in gear. Nothing is happening. So he limps it in, and he's like, I don't know what to do. And first I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's,
just get out of the damn thing and let me go take a look at it.
Like, just try to do a couple of things to, try to fix this. And basically it was like, okay, we have to take the transmission out of the car. Keep the transmission out of the car. The throwout bearing is in like 7 pieces. So we're like, okay, yay, found the problem. Put a new one in, put it back together. It's the same problem.
Sounds like our problems.
And then basically it's, to make a long story even longer, it's the pressure plate.
And how bad of a fix is that?
Well, if you know that's the problem and you just do it once, it's not bad at all. But when you don't realize that and just change it over and over, not good.
We know we can relate
Yeah,
to
so we
that.
basically stepped on our wieners, and yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
When you're sleeping, that's best.
All right. So how about you, Donnie? A shout out to you.
Well, that's and Bill. Now I'm going to correct you because it's Petruniak, 4 syllables, and you forgot the doctor part of it.
Well, speaking as a doctor to another doctor, you forget that I got the chance to make fun of the way Jeff says it. So
Did
I
you call him
take advantage of that.
Petroni?
No. I didn't. I figured Jeff can't say it right, so I didn't want to show off.
Okay.
Nobody can say it right, so I'm not faulting you at all.
All right.
Well, my gym teacher was Marciniak, so I've got a really good chance at getting yours. So it's not that big of a stretch for me.
But no, I am the lone wolf behind Fail Inc. Motorsports. I do have a, quote, sister team in Florida Man Racing. So between the two of us, we have about a half dozen cars. I'm most known for
lies.
We have a half dozen cars. None of them run.
You have 6
I'm most
cars
known
in
for the-
how many spots?
All of them.
Yeah. I get letters from the city. That's how many cars I have. So
How many states are your cars in?
we're not going to talk about that.
I think we do need to discuss this.
We're at 3. Okay, 3.
Well, underachiever.
There's a car in Tennessee. There is a car in Georgia, and the rest are in Florida.
So what you're telling me is we're going
Isn't
to
there one
party.
in California?
4. We're at 4. 5. There's one in Texas too.
Oh, hold on. So we're going to Texas in November
Oh,
because
and
I'm racing
you're in
down
New
there.
York, and there's one here.
Well, I drove this one here, and I'm driving it back.
Yeah, so there's one here.
6.
6.
Hold on.
Anybody
So-
want to buy a
6.
Sequoia real quick? Because I want to shut Amanda out.
Buy something
He's-
else, and you'll
he's-
have another car here.
Wait a second.
He's
I mean,
closer to
yes.
6
Are you trying to
factorial
sell
than he is to
me in
6
here?
cars.
It's a treat.
Sweet. So wait a second. You're telling me we're going to Nashville and we're partying tomorrow because it's in Tennessee.
Of course. Let's go.
All right.
But no, I had it was affectionately known as the Race Camry, the 1995 LS 400. I've recently sold that to a former team member who is now going to captain the Fail Inc. Motorsports Mid-Atlantic Crab Shack division.
Mhm.
So whether you want to eat crabs, whether you want to itch, we've got you on both ends.
So we need to talk you into getting an OPM
So
HRT 400 seat, right?
so between that and then I bought the 2008 HHR that was already converted to a race car, but we also have a 88 Nissan 300. We have the orange flavored drink SN95 Mustang that we're well known for, a New Edge Mustang. We have a couple new cars that are going to be coming out next year. We've got another Mustang, unfortunately. We've got a Volkswagen that's going to break constantly.
Is it pink and black?
No, it's not. It'll be
Right.
blue.
I'm jealous.
It should be a
Do
pink
you
one.
realize how far past 6 cars you are already, and you haven't even started?
Well, technically, the 6 applies to race cars. All right, I own
okay.
4 Saturn Ion red lines. So if we
I
want to
know.
go into this, I don't think there's enough fingers and toes on the podcast to count the number of cars
doubt
we
it.
have.
Even with orifices. No, there's not.
Yeah, no.
Jennifer, I opened the door for you.
Since 2020 was like a world of stuff, and a lot of stuff was canceled, maybe you guys can tell us what you've been up to this season and what races you've been to. So, Alex, we know that you were in Charlotte,
Yes, I was.
and you did very well in
there's-
Charlotte.
Yeah, actually, Charlotte was the turning point that I needed. All right, so I'm going to start this year at the end of last year. So last year, I ended on a very, very high note down in MSR Houston in November. And we were another Miata. I was running for Team Blue Line Racing, which Matt Engel was the owner. And Matt, Matt is absolutely a phenomenal guy. He is stand-up, extremely nice, hospital.
Hospital.
He's,
Yes.
he's an extremely
Hospitable.
nice hospital.
Hospitable,
He's got lots of patience with Alex, apparently.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Actually, so real quick innuendo on Matt. So I was supposed to race with Matt in November at Houston this year, and I think we're about to skip it. Yes, words are hard. Words are very hard. Matt had an accident last week while he was working on his IROC, and he was jumping out of the trunk, and he tore his ACL, MCL, broke his kneecap. And this is not the first leg injury Matt had. So Matt works for the wonderful state of Texas, and he is a pursuit driver instructor for the state police down there. So right away, as someone from the Northeast coming to Texas on a plane, helmet and gear and everything, and I meet Matt, I get picked up in a Crown Vic. I sit down, said Crown Vic, and I look up to the ceiling, and there up there is a fully automatic M4 carbine, and I'm like, I can get used to Texas. This is interesting. It was definitely a real opening it. So Houston goes great. We ran in third place, and then we stepped on our wiener in the last 40 minutes. And unfortunately, Joe, our anchor driver, put the car sideways in the carousel there at about 90 miles per hour. Thankfully, the area around it wasn't wet and he didn't flip the car. So, yeah, it was... there was a Cadillac out there that decided it didn't like our Miata, and it wanted to go ahead and rearrange one of our fenders and tossed us sideways, unfortunately. No one was injured, which is the most biggest concern. The car had a rear toe link, front toe link broken, I think, on it. And we had to retire from the race at that point, but we still finished seventh. So then into this year, I had this year lined up pretty well. I had ride at Pitt's race. I had a ride at New Jersey Motorsports, and then New Jersey Motorsports went from 1 car to 2 car, then 2 car to, okay, I'll drive 3 cars. And I legitimately was like, I just need a race because Pitt race got canceled. I'm like, oh, what can we do? So unfortunately, the birthday gods were not nice to me for New Jersey, and they did not give me the present to go racing. So fast forward, every race is getting canceled left and right. And finally, Lemons throws down Ginger Man. Ginger Man looks like it's going to happen. So I end up renting 2 seats in 2 different cars out at Ginger Man. As an added bonus, I got to go out and see the first concert in America since COVID lockdown everything. And if you go to Forbes magazine,
it's right on the way.
Do a search for Local H in Forbes, you'll see that they rented a drive-in theater that we all bought tickets to, and we got to go see a concert there. And this was legitimately the Thursday and Friday leading into the Lemons race. And it was sold out when I was looking for tickets, and the only way I can get tickets was buying 2 tickets. And unfortunately, no one in Lemons wanted to join me at this concert, and I gave the offer out to everyone and anyone I knew, and no one wanted to join me. I think they all thought I was some sort of freak of nature or something. That's still yet to be determined. Still yet to be determined, because I think I may be. Because Donnie's giving me the one finger and the dirty eye, so.
It's not that you might be.
Okay, yeah, so I am. So that's besides the point. So get out to Ginger Man, and the first car that I rent is Owens Templar Knights Dodge Neon. On paper, and actually looking on the exterior of the car looks actually really awesome. He even has active aero on that car, which is, it was a new thing for me, but once I got adjusted to it, I'm like, this thing is fun. Unfortunately, I got all but, 14 minutes or 24 minutes? I think it was 24 minutes in the car before it blew up on the second day on Sunday. We won't even discuss the Saturday leading into that. And then the other car that I drove was the Wonderment assortment of Derek's. And that thing was a monster. That thing was a lot of fun. And that thing gave me one of the most scary moments on a track that I've ever had in my life. If anyone knows Ginger Man, there's a section that leads into turn 10B, which is a downhill right-hand 190-degree turn. And if you hit the right line, you are hauling a lot of butt. So the Wonderment Consortment has somewhere north of 250 horsepower in a Volkswagen station wagon. I was pinned at about 58 to 5,900 RPM in fifth gear, which was the final gear in that car, going into that turn. And at the brake marker, I decided to go ahead and hit the brakes. Well, the brakes decided to say, hey, I want to see what the firewall looks like. And so all of a sudden, one thunderous clap, you hear the pedal go, and there's no pressure. So immediate self-preservation mode comes in, and the pumping like, I don't know.
It's a nice squishy swamp right off there, so you're fine.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, no, it is. But the amount of pumping that occurred, it was just like thunder pump. That's the way to go ahead and describe it. And I'm constantly hitting it, and I'm trying to steer the car right and skid it a little bit to scrub off speed. Finally get to the point where I can downshift it into fourth and have that at least slowly start to settle it. Finally, the rear brakes catch. And at 10B, if you know the corner, there is a divot coming around the corner, which is what I like to describe as the point of no return. If you pass this, you're going off. And right as I started to initiate a point where the car was comfortable enough to start making the turn, I started turning, which was just past the point of no return. So as the car starts turning and rotating, I'm saying hello to grass, which at this point now, the mindset goes into, oh, let me make the turn to, oh no, don't flip the car. And immediate counter steer, another downshift into third, jamming on the gas a little bit to get it to rotate and straighten itself finally happened. And then finally the car came to a stop, and I realized that I went through 2.5 pairs of pants in a matter of half a second. So that was fun with the Wonderment Consortment. The end result was one caliper had only backing plates on it on the front right, and then the driver's side had the backing plate welded to the piston and no backing plate on the outside. So thus Derek has said that he's taken care of the issue, which is nice. So that was Gingerman in a nutshell. Besides the trip to Chicago that I made to go ahead and pick up 2 engines for Owen after he blew the first one, or after his first arrive and driver blew up the engine. So that headed into the next race, which I raced at a Champ Car at Nelson Ledges, and it'll be the first and last time I ever go to Nelson Ledges. I know Champ Car is a little more serious. And I totally agree why it is. And it's very competitive and it's a lot of fun. We brought a middle pack running spec Miata there and Mike Hardigan's Fuse 15 race team. And it's a very well sorted car. It was a shakedown for him because he had just gone over it, put the new engine into it. Well, new used engine, I should say. And things were going great on testing day. Edmund Wong was there with us, Mike and myself, and we were going to go ahead and 3-man the 2 races over 2 days. So Mike goes ahead, takes the car out first, and then hands the car over to me. And I go out and about 20 minutes into my stint, and out of nowhere, and by some act of God, I heard a snap in the front of the car. Now, typically at race speeds and how high revving they are and the straight exhaust on this thing, you don't hear anything. So that front snap I heard was the accessory belt going bye-bye. So I brought the car immediately right away. We get it in there. Ed goes out to the parts store to get a belt, and Mike gets a belt from another team. We put the belt back on the car, but unfortunately, we didn't straight edge the pulleys to see why it happened. Just let's fix the problem. Now, I mark myself as the error here because I'm typically the person been like, if something happens, what's the reason for it? And let's chase that down. But at this point in the notion, this is not my car, this is not where I am. And we just got sent out. Well, we learned that a Miata engine can last at 120 degrees Celsius for 10 laps at full tilt until it decides to go ahead and say bye-bye cylinder number 3 and cylinder number 1. So that was the end of that one, which leads into Charlotte. And Charlotte, these poor guys, Matt, and Carl decided to go ahead and let me come in to race their car, along with this this podcast team that wanted me to race their car too.
They're a bunch of goobers.
I'm surprised they even would allow me into their car. Oh my
What's
God.
a podcast?
I have no clue.
We never said we make good decisions.
Well, you know what? Let's bring this back just a little bit.
You're trying to control this
Well,
podcast.
We were
Yeah, I know.
we wanted to know what races you had been. So that was, how many was that?
This is going into race number 3.
Okay.
And so Charlotte was race number 3. And then after Charlotte, there was Thompson. Now there's New Hampshire and
EMP.
oh yeah. Oh my God.
You won Class B, remember?
Did we win one?
The race you
One
won
Class
is the
B.
one you forgot, you doofus.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is why I'm not allowed nice
It
memories.
sounds like you had a pretty exciting season.
It's the season's not over yet, and it has been very exciting. I hope to continue it into next year, and I hope people will actually want me driving their cars. I like to think that I'm a relatively heads-up driver that takes care of things, but I don't know what other people think of me. So
Oh, we all love you.
Well,
So what about you, Amanda?
Amanda let you come over. So.
What racing have you done
Oh,
this
yeah.
season?
My season was not as exciting. So yeah, pit race got canceled.
So you're only going to talk for an hour then.
So pit race got canceled. Sad trombone.
Jersey got canceled.
NJMP got canceled. Also sad trombone.
Wah, wah.
Then Thompson, which I still had an amazing time, even though my car.
But you forgot CMP too.
That's
Get there,
after
yeah.
Thompson.
Take a sip, Alex. Take a sip.
Alex.
Was it after Thompson?
Oh my God.
Yes.
It was.
Yes.
Where
Yes.
am I? Who am I? Who are you? All right. Anyways, sorry.
Chloroform's wearing off. Shit.
I never knew we were going to have an arrive and drive on our podcast, but whatever.
The sticker's still on the helmet, and I still need to fulfill it.
So Amanda, after Thompson, you went to CMP?
Yes. So I was originally signed up to be an arrive and drive for Hamza's car. And
Okay.
then I was talking to Matt Farides from Sorry for Party, and he was like, well, if you drive and if Brandon drives, like we could get enough drivers for both of our cars. And then they brought 2 cars instead of 1 car. So then I was signed up for 3 cars. And then a few other people asked me, and I was like, all right, I think 3 cars is that's probably enough cars to be driving for 1 race.
That's a good weekend.
I kept it for 3. Unfortunately, Hamza's car didn't want to car either. I think it's just a bad year for E36s, possibly.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's just mental.
Finally.
So,
Nice.
Jen's like, yeah, I agree.
Jen votes yes.
So yeah,
Bad
it's
day
not
check.
been a good year for E36s.
No.
No. But it was a great year for the Porsche, and we won Class B, so that was awesome.
So is your car like completely dead, like for a while?
No, it was dead for Saturday. It was dead from, all right, so my stint, it was fine. It was in first. And then Jamie got in it after me. I don't even remember. No, Brandon got in the car. It was still in first. Jamie gets in the car and it dies. So bad Jamie. We'll blame him. And then it was out for the entire rest of the day. So it was like, I don't know, we drove the car for probably 5.5 hours on Saturday, which is unfortunate because that's the longest day. So then the car was out for the rest of the day. And then Sunday it was fine. We fixed the car. It was fixed like probably all back together and everything by like midnight on Saturday. Sunday it was totally fine. And then I replaced a lot of stuff when it came home.
Okay.
But it was awesome that Three Pedal got to win, and like the end of that race was like completely crazy. Like, so I got to drive all day on the car got to come out all day on Sunday, and I was following like what was happening with like Three Pedal and with Silly Nannies, and it was just I have a lot of video.
Yeah.
Good.
From that race, but I'm super happy that the Three Pedal got a win finally. That was super well deserved. So I don't really care that my car died.
It's still fun.
All right. How about you, Donnie? How many races have you done this year?
Well, we started the year at Barber. We took 3 cars to Barber, the Lexus, the Mustang, and the Nissan. At Barber, we replaced the throttle body, the mass airflow sensor, the crank sensor, both cam sensors, and all of the injector wiring on the Nissan, and could not get it to go over 2,200 RPM.
Strong.
Yeah,
Strong.
and it's an automatic, so it wouldn't even shift out a second.
Super
Yeah.
strong.
Nice.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about wear.
Yeah.
Very
So
fast.
it's got a brand new set of tires on it, brand new set of brakes. That
Well, what do you need brakes for?
yeah, exactly.
Take them off. That's extra weight.
Oh, and it's for sale too. So,
Sign me up.
but yeah, the Mustang broke a strut,
Sounds peachy.
and we cobbled together a strut with the coilover spring, and we used exhaust tubing clamps to hold the coil spring on the strut
Safety third.
Isn't there a
for
Facebook group? about
all day
this?
Sunday, and it ran all day Sunday just like that. The Lexus ran Barber without an issue, except for someone deciding to spin it on the coming out of the backstretch by the museum. Not going to say who did that, but somebody did. Yeah, definitely, it was that guy. So after Barber, I was signed up to run Pit. Pit got canceled.
Yep.
I was going to do there were 3 weeks in a row. It was going to be the Daytona Chump Car Race, Pittsburgh, and then the first CMP race. All 3 of those got canceled. So April went from really busy to really boring for me. Wound up the Daytona Chump Car Race got rescheduled to the 4th of July. So there was nothing more American than running a race at Daytona in the rain on the 4th of July.
That was after the IMSA race, right?
Yeah, it was the day after we had IMSA open for us. So finally, some people realized that
We're legitimate.
yeah,
We do car things.
Yeah. The problem that we had at Daytona,
There you go.
we took 2 cars to Daytona. Our friend's Fox body came, and then our New Edge Mustang came. Well, when someone unloaded the Fox body from the enclosed trailer, they reached across and knocked it out of gear. And when they did that, they hit the brake bias adjuster and adjusted it to full rear. And nobody caught it until lap 1, when the guy driving on lap 1 went into the International Horseshoe, which is the hard right corner, second right corner in the infield,
Right.
and went to hit the brakes, and the car just went right around on him, right into the wall.
Who was that?
It wasn't me. I watched it all happen from the infield.
She's like, not me.
Somebody who looks like me, but not me.
Yes. We'll get to what I did on the Mustang later, the orange one.
That's what she said.
So we brought that back and proceeded to pull it we wrapped a chain around the garage post, the concrete post at the garage, and we hooked a chain to my truck and pulled the front end of it straight enough to where we could get a radiator in it, and we got it able to be taken back out. But the Chump Car officials did not want it back on track because of how much it was damaged, which I understand. Structure was compromised. So the Orange Mustang, however, ran the entire race despite having the passenger side front or driver's side front tire blow out at about 130 coming out of the tri-oval into turn 1.
What type of tire was this?
It was a Falcon 615.
The 615 Plus?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
we had to have run over something
Yeah.
because that wouldn't have happened otherwise.
Not at that speed.
Yeah, the car did about 3.5 pirouettes, went across.
Triple axle?
Oh, yeah.
Landed? Stomp?
Yeah. Oh,
Sweet.
it was a whole lot of this inside the car.
Did it Nancy Kerrigan or did it Tanya Harding?
Tanya Harding.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Tanya Harding.
Just making sure.
So the car finally came to a stop about 400 yards from where the tire blew, and about 100 feet from where I hit the wall at the first ever Daytona Chump Car race back in 2010. So that was a very hair-raising experience, and a lot of memories got brought back.
Memories.
But
So you're getting better at hitting that wall.
So
Yeah.
how many pants did you use?
a lot, all of them.
All of them?
All of them.
Wow.
Pressure
All of
wash the
them.
fire suit after that.
Now my 2 pants is insignificant. Oh.
Yeah.
He used more pants than you.
And when the tire blew, the wiring harness for the engine runs in the driver wheel well.
No.
So it shredded that
Goodbye.
wiring harness.
Wah, wah,
We
wah.
spent about 2 hours rewiring that entire harness out of the way, fired the car up and sent it back out, and it ran the rest of the day.
That's what needs to get done.
And then the weekend after that was the Chump Car race at Charlotte. So we took the Lexus and the Orange Mustang to Charlotte. The Orange Mustang had a brake failure it was a 14-hour race, so at about the 12-hour mark, the Orange Mustang had a brake failure. And going into turn 1, and stuffed itself into the tire barrier.
Funnily enough,
I was not driving that time.
the BMW I was in at Charlotte decided to go ahead and hit that same wall off turn 1 in the rain.
A week
So
later.
Are
Yeah.
these cars driven by
But-
goats?
Yes. Neither of us.
I can do a lot of story on that. I will,
And
I
the
will
Lexus.
politely decline.
I'm sorry, what? Are you going through a tunnel?
No, I had a very
Wow,
close
shots fired.
seat for that one.
But yeah, the Lexus blew the power steering hose, and that was fun for 20 minutes. I finished the stint without power steering, brought it in, and I immediately called O'Reilly's that's near the track, and they had a power steering line for the car. And those
Oh.
power steering lines are unobtainium because they're a 2-year only part. And they had one on the shelf.
Wow.
So we thought at this point in time, like, the race car gods had shined down upon us and everything was going to be great. Everything was going to be fine.
And then
Bring the car. So driver 2 takes the car out. I go get this power steering line, bring it back. Driver 2 brings the car in the garage, 20-minute change, power steering gets bled, car goes back out. Everything's going great.
And then
About 9 hours later, the car comes down the front stretch. And as it comes down the front stretch, you get to see the thermostat housing just explode and all of the water go right onto the windshield of the car because it had a functional cowl on the hood that would pull hot air out from under the hood of the car.
Littering and
So-
smoking the water.
So we bring the car in, and I had purchased a thermostat housing because, let's remember, this car had 295,000 miles on on it
It's
at the
mints.
beginning of this year.
It's fine.
Yeah, it was just
It's on
broken
its
in.
way
It's
to
just
broken
broken
in. Just almost.
Pull the thermostat. You don't need the thermostat in it. Get rid of it.
So we put the new thermostat housing in it, fill it back up with water, send it back out. Everything's going great. Bring it in, do another driver change. Next driver goes out. And then the car comes down the front stretch again, and right at the start-finish line, starts blowing white smoke out the exhaust.
So we need to have an exorcism.
No, there's a
front
new
straight.
pope.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, we signaled the new pope.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
And car comes back in. There's absolutely no compression. Head gaskets are gone. Heads are warped. I could have probably cooked an egg on the hood of the car. That's how hot that motor got.
I mean, I'm always hungry. I'm down for food.
Yeah. We didn't have any in the pits.
It's a griddle.
And then, so after Charlotte, the next race for us was CMP, and we took the HHR to the 24 at CMP, and 6 hours into that is when the input shaft and the trans failed and filled the bell housing with transmission fluid.
The question is this, though. Were the aerodynamic upgrades that were done to the car,
A detriment, yes.
did they actually make this happen?
The aerodynamic ducts placed on the rear of the vehicle caused more drag and therefore more stress on the transmission and caused the input shaft seal to fail.
So there you have it, folks. That's how you duck a car.
You would know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I forgot. I came up to do Thompson too.
Yes, you did.
I ran Thompson in a Vet,
What type of that?
a Chevette.
And wait a
A
second.
Chevette that grenaded its transmission on me on test day. I was downshifting from fourth to third to go into turn one at Thompson. And
Good plan.
third gear was not where I left it when I shifted into fourth at the beginning of the straightaway.
I hate it when those personal
Yeah.
problems happen.
Yeah, just
Just disappears on you.
and halfway through Saturday, the motor blew. And then we put a motor in it, sent it back out. And Sunday, the
Clutch.
the flywheel bolts sheared off in the crank.
Oh yeah, didn't they all fall out when you took the transmission off?
Yeah.
It's
I thought the
weight
clutch
savings.
was like, the clutch really
Weight
looks
savings.
terrible in our car, but I just didn't change it.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha! And then you're like, the clutch failed. I was like,
Yeah. No. The flywheel bolts sheared off.
that's not ideal.
We frown upon that.
So yeah, everything that I have driven this year has failed in a spectacular fashion. And I have
Oh,
not
geez.
let the team that I'm racing New Hampshire with know that.
So, innuendo to all Lemons teams going to New Hampshire. If you're a front runner, Donnie gets 5 minutes of time in each of your cars, so we can go ahead and win in a 1.6 liter Miata.
You got to keep Donnie and
All right.
Mental out of cars this year.
Well, yeah.
Well, Mental was in the orange Mustang at Barber when the brakes failed on it at Barber.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're not wrong.
And CMP.
Yeah, and then he broke the car at CMP. When I was at MSR, he broke 2 Miatas there. He broke 2 other Miatas at Barber.
Yeah.
Yeah, mental should not be allowed near vehicles.
Only Civics.
I'm going to start a petition on change.org that we keep mental away from any vehicle.
Except for Civics.
No, just any vehicle at all, because of the imminent threat to that vehicle.
So hold on one second. I'm down with this petition, but there has to be a little side note in it. Making Miatas Class C again.
No.
As long as we make Miatas Class C again.
Put a flathead Ford in it, and I'll agree that all Miatas should be Class C.
No. Miatas belong in Class C. They totally do. Trust me.
You realize if you put a flathead Ford in a Miata, you get more power, right?
Yeah, I understand that. We don't need more power. We just
Oh,
need
I'm sorry,
Class C.
Bill. Did you want to say something?
I gave that up.
You win.
So, guys, how was the 24-hour
Well, one of the two of you start on this one.
Oh.
It was great. I got like
So
1.5 hours of sleep, but yeah, it was great.
So tell me where it was at so our audience knows.
Where was that?
CMP.
No,
Oh,
Charlotte,
in
um,
it was
South
the CMP
Carolina
24-hour.
Motorsports Park in Kershaw, South Carolina.
Yeah, it's in
Yeehaw.
South Kakalaki.
Please don't have the owner's wife tell you, bless your heart.
Yeah.
So it was the full 24
Yeah.
hour straight. How did that go?
It went great. I guess you don't think so, but it was really, really fun. It's the first 24-hour race that I ever did. So it was really, really cool. Yes.
Yeah. Would you do another one?
It was really cool. Like it really was crappy that Hamza's car was just like totally out of the equation. But the dynamic that we had with Sorry for Parties, like the two cars, we just had a really awesome team dynamic going, and it was just cool to just go like this car, and just to have them run all night was really, really awesome. I would definitely do it again. Napping was hard. I really couldn't fall asleep. Yeah. Because you do want to try to go to
Napping was
sleep, but I
hard.
think I probably got about an hour and a half. Probably about an hour and a half worth of sleep
The entire weekend?
while the race was going on. About an hour and a half.
Oh.
But
That's the only part I'd be good at.
So guys, what about philosophies for your racing? Do you guys have any mantras, mottos, or
Yeah.
just
Yeah. If it's not on fire,
what
it's
do you-
fine.
what
That's very true. I have a few, and I take this a lot from dealing with kids and karting and everything. And so, little backstory: I'm all about exposing the new generations into racing because, let's be honest, we all love doing what we're doing. We definitely are. None of us are professionals, but in order for us to keep doing what we're doing, we need the next generations to really get involved in this. So dealing with a lot of kids and everything, they're all hotheads. I need to have fastest lap. This is it. And that's all they care about and they get centered on. And the first thing I notice is there's a lot of emotions flowing through them. And at their age, they don't know it. But as I get older and I realize more and more that I'm turning into a grandpa than anything.
Grandpa Alex.
We already have a Gramps in the group.
Doesn't matter. Grandpa Alex
oh,
from
that's
now
your
on.
new name.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, they're gonna slap fight.
This is
Watch
where it
out.
I'm taking Amanda in this.
So anyways, like
Bit of a grandpa run check.
one of
Grandpa.
hey kids, get off my lawn. But besides that, it's trying to teach how to be stoic behind the wheel, not carry emotions into it or anything when you're driving, because the moment you get hot-headed over something, you get angry, you get happy. Even me, I've gotten excited a few times behind the wheel. And let me tell you, each time I do something stupid. And there are probably videos of me spinning cars or putting cars into walls that are out there because I got a little too excited.
Ooh, the cat.
It's going into it, you want to make it as peaceful as possible. And that's pretty much what I try to do when I get into a car. And I like to calm people around me. I don't know if I do a good job at it or not. I think maybe my antics might put people on edge. Not 100% sure on that.
Well, Alex, what's the difference, would you say, between the obvious differences between go-karts and like car racing?
So the fundamentals are all there. You learn limits of adhesion. You learn learn G-forces and turns. You learn racing lines. If you find yourself in a group of good karters, you learn how to go ahead and race in crowds. And we have a cat taking over everything here.
We're used to it by now.
Yeah, pretty much. As for what translates over, a lot translates over except for the reactions of a heavier car. For the longest time, I actually found myself in the area where I would start off on lighter carts, say a shifter cart or when you go to a rental place, a 6.5 horsepower carts. And I'd find that I do awesome with the 6.5 horsepower carts, or something that was even lighter, like a shifter or a solo cart or a 4-stroke. But once you put me into a heavier cart, all of a sudden, the whole dynamic of racing, it changes. The way that it handles, and weight is my biggest downfall in cars. And I learned that in Charlotte. You threw me into a E36, and that is definitely way heavier than a Miata. Where am I going with this? I'm even trying to figure this one out.
Just your balance with the cars, between cars and
And
go-karting.
we found that a lot of our guests, that seems to be like a natural progression. Like a lot of people start in karting.
I think starting karting puts you ahead of the game. It doesn't necessarily make you a master of the game. Master of the game only comes with experience, time, and seat time. The longer you do it, the more you're into it, the better you're going to get at it, and the more you're going to be able to hone your skills. There are some people that are just gifted with a natural ability. I had a kid work for me. His name's Sam, and legitimately, he's like a miniature version of me, and that's what everyone I worked with said. Kid's wicked fast. He's fast. He's way faster than me on karts. He has all the raw talent there. Yet over the 2 years that me and him worked, that he worked for me and we raced, he was never able to go ahead and beat me, and he couldn't know why. Fast forward, Sam now is in Utah, and he is trying to become an Olympic ski jumper for the U.S. team. And I knew this ahead of time when he first started working for me, and immediately my decision with him was I needed to iron out his mental strength, because he had none. He was a young kid, and legitimately, if something caught his attention, it would be like, squirrel, what? And totally like just lose it. So I may or may not have gotten into his head a little too much when it came to racing. And if Sam's listening to this, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. But it was all in preparation for him for the uphill battle that he was doing. And now, from doing the jumping, he's discovered this wonderful two-wheeled sport called Supercross or Supermoto. And he's racing bikes out in Utah now. So he's taken everything that we learned from karting and translated into motorcycle racing, which takes a huge amount of willpower to do.
That's awesome. I just got an email, and I just want you guys to feel the honor of being on the number 4 automotive podcast in all of Indonesia.
Wait a second.
Indonesia.
Was that Nigeria?
The number 4 podcast in all of Indonesia.
That's right.
But hold on.
Wow. Like that's
on top of something right
yeah,
there.
yeah. I mean, when I think Indonesia,
You think Garage Hero and training? I mean,
I think like tuk racing,
Sake bomb,
sake bomb, and
listen, we're trying to go to number 3, not number 20.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry,
Jaeger bomb, Jaeger bomb.
Vicky, help me.
Don't worry about it. If you just saw, we were getting the nod of shame from Amanda and her. I don't know these guys.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so guys,
But
listen, we are going to
the
go
funniest
into
part
the
about this is throughout this whole thing, we've got the Zoom call on, and it's got the little names underneath, and right under Donnie, it says Amanda. I am dying.
I mean, call me whatever you want. Just don't ever call me late for dinner.
Never an issue.
Never an issue. All right, guys, we are going to go do the Fast and Furious Storytime questions with all 3 of you. Amanda's already been introduced to this probably once.
There's
I'm
a couple
sure.
she hasn't had. Though.
So
There's
a couple she hasn't had. A couple of new ones have been added. I'm going to get to know you a little bit. These are just fast questions.
Oh, I doubt that.
Fast answers.
What's the last time I was fast was on the show.
So that's right. So Jennifer is going to go ahead and lead this off.
Okay, so first we're going to start with, what was your very first car? Wait a minute. Hold on.
Come on, I don't. How many times have you actually asked?
I know, but I'm trying to find. I want to ask it correctly. All right. So
Don't start
She's
now.
asked these questions like 30 times.
Okay. So what was your first car? It doesn't matter. I'm going to ask all three of these in succession. They're going to forget the second one before they even answer the first one. So what was your first car? What was the worst car you ever had? And what is the car from your family that sticks out in your mind? So let's start with Donnie. What was your very first car ever?
1986 Pontiac Trans Am with T-tops and a 305.
86?
Whoa, like Smokey and the Bandit.
No,
No.
third gen.
10 years 10 years too late.
Okay.
Wow. I had an 84.
Uh,
What was the
Donnie, I'm bonding
What
with
was
you.
the worst car you've ever had?
the worst car I ever owned, I bought a 2014 Ford Fusion, brand new. And it was the
Why?
SE with the sport package, and it had the 2-liter turbo engine. It was basically a stretched Focus RS. It had the power shift 6-speed automatic transmission, which is the one that Ford needs to rebuild every 15,000 miles when they blow up. It had every recall known to man on it. And I would get recall letters from Ford about every 6 weeks or so to take the car into the dealership. It only ever left me stranded in Charlotte twice, in Atlanta once, and in Myrtle Beach once, all on holiday weekends when service departments are closed.
15,000
Wow.
miles apart.
No. And the thing is, it never left me stranded because of the transmission.
Go figure.
I blew up a turbo. I blew up a head. I blew up a.
That sounds like a personal problem.
Yeah. Well, it was a seal. I promise.
Or a walrus.
And and
Amanda's just shaking her head.
Oh yeah, no, you don't understand. We're going to be punished for this thoroughly.
Was that trailer
but I'm
really worth
getting
it,
to enjoy
Amanda?
it.
So what's a car that in like a family car that sticks out? Like from your childhood maybe, or
Or neighborhood car?
My dad had a early 80s Dodge Ram Charger. And it was, we had a lot of property. My grandfather had a farm, quote unquote, just to get the exemption on the side of the mountain that he owned in Pennsylvania. And it was always there, and he always used to send one of the kids down to the main road, which was, the driveway was 3/4 of a mile long, to get the mail for my grandmother, or to go into town and get something from my grandmother from the store. And the truck had farm use plates on it, and in the state of Pennsylvania, anybody can drive any vehicle that has a farm use tag on it. So as soon as you were 12, 13 years old, you were going into town for grandma to get things for dinner and going to get the mail. And that's probably the vehicle that sticks out to me, because that's the one that I wouldn't say I learned how to drive on, but the one where I honed my hooning up a dirt road skills on.
that's awesome. So Amanda, you probably answered this question already. So, but for our listeners that missed your podcast, that one that we did before,
Which was excellent.
Which was excellent. I understand. I wasn't on that one.
Wait a
I
second.
missed
We're
that
not
one.
excellent.
Very sad.
Oh,
Yeah.
not excellent.
So what was your first car?
My first car was a 1988 Dodge Shadow
RT.
ES.
Okay.
It lasted about like 5 miles.
Oops.
It had a manual transmission. It was red. The front tires were larger than the back tires. I drove it really, really fast into a tree. So that wasn't really very good.
Oh no.
It looked like a half a donut.
I remember she sent that picture of her. That was crazy.
Yeah,
The technical
literally
term is tacoed.
was just,
Felt.
the tree was in the passenger side and it was like next to me. So Nothing happened to my seat, but the rest of the car was like not really a car anymore. It was just like a crescent. It was a crescent.
Wow. And
That's
you
still
really
fun.
wanted to drive again after that?
Yeah, I wanted to learn how to drive properly after that because apparently that was not really very good.
So what was the worst car you ever had?
So I think the worst car I had was, I think it was an 80, I think it was also an 88. It was a Chrysler LeBaron convertible. It was a 3-speed automatic. It definitely burned more oil than it did gas. It was really terribly slow. It was awful. My parents sold it.
It was a two-stroke.
I left the car at my parents' house and I moved back to Long Island. And they sold the car. The car was so terrible that the person gave the car back. So yeah, it was
For
really
free?
bad. It was really a bad
Wow.
car.
And what about a car from your childhood?
The most memorable
Yeah.
car from my childhood is the car my father still has. So he had the car from before I was born and before he was married, and he still has the car, which is a 1935 Chevy Master. So we went on all of our vacations with that car because every vacation we went on was basically a car show. So we went to all the street rod runs in that car, and he still has it and still drives it and still takes it to street rod runs if we are allowed to have them again because they've all been COVIDed. But yeah, I love that car.
So
Cool.
before we go one more step, is your new race car a super secret, or has it been unveiled yet?
It's not like a super secret because a bunch of people know about it, but I'm not like making it that public.
Okay.
Hopefully it'll be a car by next year because Greg Smith is supposed to have a spot for it, which had furniture, and he was supposed to clean an area in like February. And I think the area is almost cleaned out. Now I have this trailer.
Because somebody was supposed to drive that car at New Jersey
Yeah,
before New Jersey got canceled.
yeah, but then everything got.
I'm
COVID.
sure they don't hold any kind of grudge against you at all.
Well, when the car goes, you can drive it.
Alex, what about you? What was your first car?
Okay. So my first car was actually an SUV, believe it or not. And besides everything, it was a 1986 black Chevy Blazer with the time correct purple tints, because we all know that black tints want to grow up and be purple tints, with the death red interior. And this car got the nickname called the Death Chariot from all my friends.
So I have to ask,
Yep.
was it an S10 Blazer or a proper Blazer?
It was a Blazer Tahoe. Yes, I
No,
agree.
so now Donnie is very disappointed in you.
It's okay.
Oh.
So
I was disappointed to begin with. but-
he's always been disappointing. So this Blazer probably had more airtime than a WRC car seats during a race, because believe it or not, you can jump cars in Florida if you know the right intersections. And thus leading into it being called the Death Chariot, because there is actually a story behind the person that nicknamed it the Death Chariot after he experienced one said jump.
After he died.
Well, it was no. So my best friend growing up got his license before me, and his first car was, I believe, a 1983 Cadillac Eldorado. And at the tender age of 15, he didn't feel like driving down the road, so he threw me the keys of it. And there I am in the driving seat of a big Cadillac Eldorado with 3 other individuals of teenage descent in the car. And I decided to give them the most memorable left-hand turn of their life. And we pull up to this turn that we had to go into the community with. Car was stopped, left-hand signal going, waiting for cars to pass. Finally, all the cars pass. And immediately, my mind just ticked, slam the throttle and send it. I was not allowed to drive that car after that.
Understood.
So what,
Who, me? No, never.
Don't imagine why that would happen.
No,
Yeah.
never. I mean,
So
you
surprised.
can get Eldorado sideways. I will tell you that.
Which is is funny because they're all front-wheel drive.
Yeah, I know.
So what's the worst car you ever had?
So, I am going to.
1999 Black Miata.
Nope. I am about to go
Junkyard
ahead.
Fender.
No, I am about to go
French.
ahead and get crucified for saying this. So,
He's going to say an S10 Blazer.
at 22, I purchased a 1988 T-top IROC Z28s. And for $500. A legitimate $500. By the way, right now, Donnie is reaching
Sounds like
for
a
a knife
gem.
and pushing his fist in fury right now because I believe I'm about to get hit.
He probably knows the VIN number on your car.
Maybe.
I'm gonna need you to fire up the tractor. We gotta dig a hole.
Tractor. This is where you get the wood chipper. Come on, you gotta go Fargo on this.
This is Long Island. They don't use holes.
Recycling place.
Can you get rid of a Miata?
Oh God, them's fighting words.
Well, we have to get rid of that after we get rid of you.
Maybe just put him in the Miata.
Well, I mean, I am
Dig a big
affixed to
hole.
Exactly.
Yes.
What?
So anyways, this Camaro had all of maybe 7 wheel studs when I picked it up. All 4 shocks blown out, missing 2 springs, 350 in it that was not running, an ECU that was fried, an interior destroyed. And I decide that I want to pick this car up and fix it. Yeah, I learned what a parts car is at that point, and I realized that I
That
am
you
not.
got one?
Yeah, that I am never to do that again. And that was the worst car that I owned / drove 10 feet.
Oof. So
Fantastic.
what about a car that stands out from your childhood or family?
So there are actually 4 cars, and they all kind of interwove into each other. It starts off with a Datsun 280Z that my father owns, which got traded in for a Porsche 911 SC.
Porsche.
Orange.
Porsche. Because listen, I'm not German.
Listen, he's a race winning Porsche driver. Just don't ask him to pronounce it.
Oh God, yeah, I am, aren't I?
We both are.
Wait a second, we are. Oh my God. Oh. My life is changing. So that got traded in for and this is the most tragic but most memorable car of my childhood, a 928 S4 that was an auto tragic. And then finally, I guess the most memorable, it was the 93 Nissan 300ZX twin turbo that I learned how to drive manual on. And that was a lot of fun in that car. You do a lot
Okay.
of that.
All right. So usually, you guys, when you're growing up, there's this one car that really got you into cars. It's the taproot car. It's the one that, like, when you realize you were a car guy or a car girl or whatever Alex is. So what?
Listen, I'm just a car.
Okay.
Well,
So I'm
clearly for
scared.
him, it was the Mazda Miata.
Actually, it wasn't.
Yeah. All right. Then what was it there? What was your taproot car, Alex? And this time it has to be your car, not your friend's car.
Oh, well, no. The car that got me into racing, got me into cars was the poster child car, a Ferrari 288 GTO. I wanted to own one so bad, and I never will.
I think he meant a car you owned.
Oh, that?
No, it could be. It doesn't have to be.
2000 Honda Civic Si that lasted 3 months before it got destroyed.
Awesome. Amanda, I don't think we did your taproot car. Do you have one?
It was probably like the car that started like the whole rabbit hole thing was my second car, which was an 84 Cutlass Supreme. It had a V6 in it, which promptly blew up. Then it had a 305 in it when I went off to school. And then I was taking an engine building course. So then I learned how to interchange small block parts. So then it had a 372 and I took it to the local drag strip and learned how to blow up my car every week and weekend.
Sounds like things haven't changed much.
No. So yeah, it was probably mostly that car's fault. And then yeah, nothing really got much better. No.
That's so awesome.
So Donnie, what Saturn was it?
See, I grew up in a family of sprint cars and dirt modifieds and 6 or 7 different cars being taken to the county fair demo derby every August. So as far as I can remember back, I was in the garage with a wrench in my hand, knowing that this was going to be my future. But the turning point of I really want to do this, I think it had to have been when I was about 13 or 14 and did my first demo derby. And that was just euphoric to a teenager with a bunch of pent-up rage.
Gas pedal.
And gas pedal hit everything. That's all I needed to get hooked.
Okay. What is the one thing that nobody knows about you that would surprise them?
I thought about this.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I didn't know how to answer this because I know that you've asked this question on many podcasts behind this, and I'm kind of a very, hey, this is me type person, not much to hide. I really don't know what people do. Well, okay, I can play the flute and the violin.
That's a good one. Nice. How about you, Donnie?
Don't let the ladies know I can do that.
You know what?
I mean, I'm
have a
not
flute.
surprised
It's
about-
right over there.
Getting called out too.
Um,
It's been about 20 years.
I don't know. I have the same problem with this that you do. Like,
Everything's open, right?
I am who I am, but I think Lemons fits into my life very well because not in high school, not only did I play varsity football, as I'm sure you all assumed, but I also, all 4 years of high school, was in the drama and theater department, putting on plays and performing in productions. So again, the whole theatrics and athletics of Lemons really fits right into my life there.
I was thinking like
Okay.
Entourage as drama.
Yeah, kind of.
Amanda?
I think I have the same problem as well. I don't know. I don't know. I can play the flute and the piccolo though, so I don't think many people know that. And I have one over there. If we want to call Alex out on anything.
We do. Go get it.
We're going to get into a little bit of Jethro Tull tonight.
I'm in the shitter.
So what, if any, is the car that got away? Start with Alex. What's the car that got away, Alex?
A 1992 Honda Accord. And it sounds like the most weirdest thing ever, but this was the first car that I quote unquote finished building. Yeah, a little weird, right? So
Not that much.
So Hondas being the Legos that they are, I decided to drop a Prelude H22 in it, and through stupid means decided to go ahead and throw a boost at it, because what do you do with an FRM cylinder walled Honda block? You go ahead and throw a boost at it because it's the weakest link and it will blow up on you. So this car produced very close to 400 horsepower. And
Once.
No. On a multitude of times. It lasted. It never blew up on me. But due to a few moves or whatnot, the saddest day was selling that car. And if I was to have one car back, it would be that one. Being a Miata driver, a Honda Accord. Go figure.
How about that? What about you, Amanda? What's the car that got away?
I was crying about this on the last podcast. My I think it was a 2008. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. E92 M3. I didn't even think I would like that stupid car, and I leased it, and I loved that car, and I should have bought it off a lease, and I didn't. So
If only you knew somebody who could work on BMWs.
yeah. So I never got another one, but I have a E92 335, which is close-ish.
Cool. What about you, Donnie? car that got
So
away. So
I don't think any cars got away from Donnie.
about 5 years ago, this
You guys don't know how to answer anything quickly.
the title of this story is Why Donnie Hates Bring a Trailer.
Wait a second. Well, I remember it though were a meal ago.
7 years ago, I was on Craigslist one night at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, as I normally am on a daily basis, and I found a 1985 Buick Grand National that was
I
driver
remember this story.
driver condition, looked really good, had a little wear on the interior, but was perfect. It was complete. It was unmodified.
Tints or no tints?
Oh, it was Florida. It was a black car with tint.
Purple or black?
Black.
See
So-
that?
Cheap tint turns purple.
Yes.
This is Florida we're talking about here.
All tint turns purple in Florida. But the ad said no calls after 9 p.m. So instantly I knew that the person selling this was going to be up at 6:30 on their way to Cracker Barrel to meet the rest of their friends for breakfast and coffee. So I called him at 8 o'clock the next morning and, do you have the car? Yep, still for sale. Cool. Consider it sold. I'll be down there tomorrow morning. So this is the car was just south of Tampa, down in Fort Myers, in the Fort Myers, Cape Coral area. And I hooked my truck up to my trailer that day, go to bed, because I had to work that day. Grabbed the cash that he had asked for, his asking price, didn't even plan to negotiate with him because he had listed the car for $15,000 and it was worth all of that. Get down to his house, literally drive the car up and down his driveway. Don't even take it out on the street. It's in perfect shape. It looks better than it did in the photographs. I count out the $15,000 on the trunk lid of the car, and the guy proceeds to look at me as if I'm an alien from outer space. Because the day before, right after I called him and verified that the car was there, a 8-mile, never registered Grand National sold on Bring a Trailer for like $200,000. So he went in and changed the price of his car from $15,000 to $40,000 based on that sale for Bring a Trailer, never told me, and then proceeded to ask me for the other $25,000 while I was there. That was the only time that I have legitimately committed or contemplated committing murder.
25,000 or 2,500?
For an 88 IROC Z28.
No, there's a difference. I
Wow.
planned murdering you.
That's
Oh.
the same thing.
No, it's not.
In a court
No
of law-
murdering.
In a court of law, that's the same thing. That's the act leading into.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Slap fight. Slap fight.
Yes.
So,
The car
okay.
that got away was a 1985 Buick Grand National. I've always wanted a Grand National. That was the first one that I actually had the cash on hand to go and buy. And I've followed them ever since. They've come down a little bit in price, but I am always a day late anytime I find one for sale.
All right. So let me see. What is the fastest you have ever driven? What car, when, and where?
I'll go.
Alex.
You want me to go last on this one, I think.
Okay. Amanda.
Well,
Right before she wrapped the car
no, that was,
into a taco.
Taco car backwards is not taco car.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
I wish to not self-incriminate. I'm not in.
Very well. I understand.
All right, Donnie.
197.4 miles an hour in
Wow.
in
New
a
record.
2008 Corvette Z06 at the 2012 southwest timing, whatever, at Bonneville.
Okay.
See, that's
I
nice.
was this close to getting into the 200 mile an hour club.
That's
I was this close to getting into the 200 mile an hour club.
I'm kind of jealous. So,
I believe that's our new record.
yep, I thought I actually, believe it or not, I thought I had the record coming into this.
How
So
fast can a Miata go?
it was
Downhill with a sail, maybe 80.
It was a modified 1989 BMW 525. When I moved up from Florida to Connecticut, I bought it off my stepbrother and immediately trashed all the electronics in the BMW and decided that it needed a Stroker 383 in it. And
America.
I'll tell you, the looks you get in people in Fairfield County when you pull up next to a BMW going, womp, 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 is a beautiful thing. Fast forward a few years, and I'm bartending in Hartford at a particular bar where I knew a lot of particular people and had a lot of contacts. And this is well outside of the statute of limitations. And
That's always
it
important.
was not done on the Merritt Parkway. I will say that much, although I love blasting down Merritt Parkway. I will not say what highway it was on, but I asked one of said friends to lay up at a certain exit at about 3:23 a.m. and point his laser gun southbound. And after all this happened, I got a text saying, I clocked someone at 186 miles per hour. And yes, a state trooper in the state of Connecticut clocked someone at 186, and it probably was me.
Wow.
All right.
That was a fun one.
Next question.
That's me.
Imagine.
Okay.
You got me beat.
Yeah.
Salt flat.
What is your dream car for a race car, or dream car for a race car to start a build from?
You know, the perfect car, if it wasn't for its clamshell, I think would be a Lotus Exige. That's where I'd want to start from. Lightweight, you go ahead, and doesn't need too much power, and it handles. That's where if money was not an object, that's where I'd start.
What if money was an object?
If money was an object,
Miata.
so it's funny. And actually, Miata's going to come into an answer to a question later, which is going to surprise everybody.
No, Miata will never surprise anyone,
No,
Alex.
this one will. It would either be a third
So
generation.
you're saying the Miata
or-
is an answer?
Oh, it is. It's either a third generation Miata or a third generation MR2. That's where I would start if money was an object, because both of them
A
could be had.
third generation MR2?
Yep.
Oh, bad choice.
No, it's a great choice.
Second.
No. You want to know why I can't do the second? Because money becomes an object at that point. We're talking about if money was an object. And the third gens are dirt cheap. You can get 200 horsepower out of them with a quick and easy GTS Celica engine swap, or the 2ZZ or the ZZ2.
2ZZ.
2ZZ. And then at that point, you actually have yourself something that can almost keep up with the Lotus Elise.
What about you, Don?
I had an 02 Trans Am that I ran American sedan with in the SCCA. I would love to build another one of those. However, I think the next logical step for me, race car wise, is going to wind up being an 06, 07 GTO that had the 6-liter and the T56.
That's a solid pick.
The weight's a little bit more distributed in those. They're a little bit wider, a little bit longer than the Trans Am.
So when are we going racing in Australia with the Holden?
That's the thing. Like, if I built one, what would I do with it? Where would I race it? And it would have to go to AER or WRL.
Yeah.
It couldn't go to Lemons or Chumps. So I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I haven't got to a point where I can start that build yet.
Bathurst?
No,
What
I'm
about you,
not going to
Amanda?
Australia.
Damn it.
I'll wind up in prison in America soon enough.
Oh, we all will.
I'll go.
Amanda, how about
I'll
you?
go, Alex.
Same answer as last time. Boring answer. Same answer as last time. Same answer.
Okay.
My car that got away would be my E92 M3.
We discussed this one. See, this is what happens when you
Yeah.
walk away from questions.
Yeah.
Cars
It was
away.
your dream build. Your dream build.
That was.
Same
Yeah.
thing.
She answered.
Okay. All
That's
right.
what I would build.
Okay. So let me start. Where would your ultimate road trip be to and from? And in what car?
Someone's got to start it off because I have a picture of this.
Well, I was actually going to drive from literally the beach at Daytona up to the top of Pikes Peak earlier this year. And I was going to do it in my black Saturn Ion Redline. Before that, I had the dream of doing the New York to LA Cannonball, and I did that. Allegedly, I did that in a 2006 Saturn Ion Redline in just under 44 hours.
Wow.
Allegedly.
Well, somebody who looked like you might have done it.
Yeah.
Okay, Amanda, since Alex is high maintenance and wants to get his picture out, would you have a road trip you'd like to do?
Yeah, when I get my Roadster back together, which has been like the bane of my existence this year, I would like to drive it like around, like there's a thing called Americruise, and you can just basically drive around the whole country if they ever have a thing like that again.
Yep.
That would be fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
So,
He's going to show you.
actually,
You know,
I'm pretty
I
sure
will
Bill
say-
has an inbox right now.
He's pulling out his road
The-
tripper app.
So-
the build up
There you
for
go.
a audio podcast for your picture is
So
fantastic.
there's an island. There's an island off of the north coast of Canada called PP Islands.
Oh,
And
Mhm.
it goes
PP
from
Island.
Nova Scotia, all across the northern part of America, all the way into Washington at Poo Poo Point. So
So the PP to poo poo classic, is that what you're doing?
Jennifer, you got a plan?
that's pretty much it. And I think if we're going to do this, we need to do this in some sort of limousine that has a hot tub in it.
It's got to be brown.
Well, I mean, you may as well just borrow the hot tub.
Jennifer, before
No,
I
no, no, no,
die, this is the trip we're
No,
taking.
because you need to have like 16 people going with you on this.
Washington.
And it just needs to be a party the whole way.
Good point.
But yeah, that is the ultimates.
That is awesome. Wait a minute, I gotta write that down.
It's got the picture.
It'll be in the podcast notes.
Oh, boy.
The PP to poo poo. Okay. Wow.
Yes.
And I thought the
Moving on.
podcast couldn't go any lower, but no, it's still going. Still going.
Okay, so Donnie, what's your favorite car movie or car from a movie of all time?
So I would show you the tattoo if I wasn't wearing jeans.
Oh,
We can fix that.
Okay,
can we-
really?
no,
It's on my calf. It's not somewhere inappropriate.
It's not a tramp stamp.
No,
No.
actually,
Donnie doesn't have tramp stamps. He has Gramp stamps.
Oh,
Okay, Grandpa Alex.
Wow. Where's Steve at? Where's Gramps?
but you're the coolest grandpa because you give us fireworks.
Yes,
that
that is true.
I am a big fan, and I say that somewhat sarcastically, of the movie of the Back to the Future franchise. And
Okay.
I absolutely, I've had a DeLorean. I love them. I'll never own another one.
One and done.
It's a
What is
very
that?
uncomfortable driving experience for a luxury mammal. So it's like a Countach. I'll never own another Countach.
Well, you'll own another Fiero with a Countach body on it.
Oh, you're damn right. I'll own another Fiero.
Yep.
But yeah, for me it would be the DeLorean, to the point where if my mother or my brother don't know what to get me for Christmas, they just find something, DeLorean or Back to the Future. The year they came out, the year the DeLorean Lego set came out, I got 7 of them for Christmas. I am not upset with that at all.
Did it have the flux capacitor, or was it just a plain DeLorean?
Yes, yeah, and it's the one that has the flux capacitor misspelled. On the first release of it, they put the shield eyes from light sticker on the flux capacitor that you put inside the car, and they flopped the E and the I in shield, and nobody caught it.
Nice. Okay.
Hey, Bill, why don't you wait, Alex is up?
All right.
Yeah, I don't think everybody answered.
This is what, our favorite movie?
Favorite car movie or car
Movie.
movie?
Or car from a
the
movie. Could be TV too.
So it's one of two. It's either
The Miata from When Harry Met Sally, or
Stop it. The Mitsubishi Evolution 3 from Jackie Chan's Thunderbolt, or
Wow. That's a new one.
Call Me a Fanboy. There is a Vietnamese, I think it was Vietnamese version of Initial D live action put out, and the AE86 in that. It's one of those 2 cars. And yes, I'm a fanboy.
Okay. All right. I don't remember if Amanda answered this, but I think I do.
I think
remember
I
she
did.
answered
I
this one.
think I did, and
All
I
right.
think I'm gonna answer it the same way. I'm pretty sure this is how I answered it. So I like the flying car that was in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Oh, you did say that.
solid.
Hmm.
I really like that car.
Magic cars are always good. So, given that you guys have raced in lots and lots of different races, what is the car that you would love to switch into that you've raced against or raced in the past against, and at what racetrack?
I'm going last on this one because it's
So many.
One car, Alex.
can-
One.
All right. So if I was to do it, and I think the 2 individuals in this car already know the answer to this, it would be in Dave's Cressida, and I would love to wing that car around Thunderbolt at New Jersey.
That would be fun.
Yep.
Well, Donnie wants to go last, Amanda, so,
Yeah. So it really was the Firebird for Sorry for Party, and I got to drive it. So there's that.
Yeah.
That was
there is
awesome.
that.
Check that
So
off.
check that off. And then
And you didn't even have to wear shorts like Matt.
yeah, but you don't have to, but you want to when you're with that crowd.
We also,
I was wearing pants. I was wearing pink and black
Jettas.
or multicolored zebra striped pants.
Oh, okay.
So was Kelly and so was Brandon.
It's,
Brandon wears the same size as Kelly. Or so he says.
Not as well, though. Not as well.
Not as well. Not as well.
No, a little bit better.
And
you're right.
all 3 of us wore the same pants all the way home and went to multiple rest areas.
What
That's
you
what we're all
missed when you
about.
were in the Firebird was the revealing of the Speedos.
No, I saw you running around in the, yeah. But no, the
reveal.
car I think that I would like to drive, I'd really be curious to drive the Z that Silly Nannies has. That car is pretty fast. I would definitely want to drive that car. And track, I think that car would probably do super well at Thunderbolt.
Mm.
That would be sweet.
Yep. Yeah, we were at an HPDE with them one time in that car. It was zipping by quite nicely.
Yeah, the car is fast.
Yeah, it was.
So
Yep.
down in Florida, We have this little thing called figure eight school bus racing. And
Ooh.
there is a
Yes.
gentleman by the name of Mike Gamache who has a very highly modified, shortened school bus. And I've raced against him on numerous occasions, and I would love to jump into his bus for one race.
Is this in Bithlo?
Yes, this is in Bithlo, Florida.
I love Bithlo.
Yes, the state of Florida has given everyone figure eight school bus racing, and you're welcome.
Might be the best sport ever.
Yeah.
I think it is.
It's true. They're probably doing that on Three Pedals
We have school bus
iRacing right now.
here.
But is it in a figure eight?
Great.
I don't know.
It is in a figure eight.
I think it is. I'm
Now,
pretty sure it
yes.
is.
now, wait a second. Figure eight bus racing
I'm
with
Googling
camper trailers attached on the rear.
No, the camper trailer race is the race before the race after the figure eight school bus race,
Yeah, but
which I've always run in a Crown Vic.
we need to combine those two together. We really do.
No, because the track just gets so littered. It's
That's true.
yeah.
But it's a school bus. It's going to go right through it.
Tires won't. All right. What's your favorite track so far and why?
Such a hard question.
It's
I
an
know.
easy question.
All right, Donnie, you get to go first then.
For you,
It's the
Daytona.
track that I have the most experience on, that I've run the most hours on. It's the road course at Daytona.
Really? Why is that?
This changing from the banking to the flat and having to negotiate wide open throttle for a mile while you're passing cars and you're getting passed by cars. And then being able to just throw it into, you're welcome. We invented that. Just being able to,
Oh, my client. I'm also the president.
being able to be somewhere historic at the same time is really the thing.
Okay. Amanda, do you have a favorite track so far?
I really like New Hampshire.
Because of the
I think that's my favorite track.
hill?
There's a lot going on there. There's different surfaces, and it's a really cool track.
Except for the turtle.
Has a lot of elevation, and it has walls. I like it.
Okay. Whiny Alex? Alex.
Yada. I'm torn. I'm torn between Watkins Glen and Road of Atlanta. I love both of those tracks, and I have fun on them in an underpowered car that has no torque. But they're fun tracks. So each for their own reason.
Okay.
I haven't driven on either one.
All right, we've got a new question to follow up.
Uh-oh.
What is your favorite turn so far?
Oh, whose feelings have I hurt the most in what turn? That's the question. Actually, so just
Don't worry, the girls have to answer this one too, so it's not just you guys.
taking the kink sideways at Carolina at speed was a fun experience and scary as hell. And it was a blast, but I have to say, the right-hand oval turn at Thompson, I've probably hurt more feelings there than I can count.
Oh, okay.
And let's go back to Dave and Aaron. Just talk to them, because there's a certain line that they introduced me to, and after going through that line, that turn has just transformed for me, and it's just a fun place to overtake cars that have way more power than you'll ever have.
Okay. Amanda,
This question is too difficult. I don't
what turn
know.
stands out then? Maybe it's not your favorite.
I like a lot of them.
Don't be like Alex.
I do
Don't be like
like
Alex.
at New Hampshire,
We might get an Alex response out of this. This might be good.
no. In New Hampshire, the right-hander going up the hill,
Oh,
like
okay.
that has lots of compression. I really like that turn. You can definitely get around a lot of people there and
Absolutely.
take it a whole bunch of different ways. I don't know if it's my favorite turn, but it stands out.
Okay,
I like it.
that's awesome. Donnie, are you going to do an Alex thing? Like, I have 74 turns, and let me tell you about them.
I'm a really big fan of being on the high banks of Daytona, but my favorite turn is 17 at Sebring, because in the dark you go from seeing nothing to under the bridge, and then suddenly there's the fully lit front stretch, and like you're going like this the entire time because the surface is just slabs of concrete. And it's, again, it's just the whole historics and the history behind it, of knowing who's done this before you and being able to see the same thing that they're seeing.
Heard we need to do Sebring this year.
I'm doing Sebring this year,
Next year.
next month.
Oh, so jealous. Maybe I won't do Houston. Maybe I'll come down and do Sebring if there's a seat open.
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
All right.
I might see you at Houston. Who knows?
Oh, that might happen too.
Houston's halfway to Sebring.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, how much racing is learned and how much is natural skill?
I think that depends on the person. Some people have a lot of natural skill, and some people have to try a lot harder than others.
I think the 86.3 percenters is where the best racers come out of. And the 86.3% of them is natural talent. And then they're never the fastest or the best or anything like that. They're the ones that constantly need to reinforce training and learning and evolving what they already have. I think that's where the best racers come out of.
Donnie, what are you thinking?
I mean, you have to have the natural skill to be able to pilot a car and not be afraid by it, but also you have to learn the proper way to do that. So 50-50?
50-50. Okay.
So anyway, how can we edit that part out?
You sure about that?
Yeah, that's right. How can our audience keep in contact with you or follow you on your team? How about you, Alex? Do you have an Instagram or?
People can go ahead and find me on Faceballs, Alex Levinson, Levinson. The account's private, but I accept people that come into it. You can find me on the Instagram at Miata13B. And
Why 13B?
Because that's the rotary he wants to put in a Miata.
Yep. It's always been a dream of me to drop in a 13B REW into a first gen Miata. And it's been my online screen name since 2002 because of wanting to do this.
I solely said that sarcastically.
No,
I
it's
did
the
not
truth.
know.
It's totally the truth. Yeah. I want to go ahead and take a 3.9 liter engine and put it into a car with only a 12.3 gallon fuel tank. A lot of fun.
How about you, Amanda?
So my team's face page is Mome Wrath, 24 Hours of Lemons team. So sometimes I remember to actually post stuff on there. But it's a pretty old page. It goes back all the way to 2013 when I bought the first car.
Oh, I'm going to have to go look at some of those old ones. I know the new ones.
So yeah, the first car was riddled with failure. There's a lot of fail that goes back in those years.
That means we have a chance, guys.
You can see, like, from knowing absolutely nothing about the platform or lemons or anything really to do with having a race team to winning lemons. So yeah, it's a pretty.
We're just on a different trajectory. We're a little behind.
Started from the bottom and still kind of close.
Yeah. Working our way up to baby
What
average.
about you, Donnie?
The Facebook page for the team is Fail Inc. Motorsports. Instagram is fail_Inc. Again, private because of my corporate overlords. But as long as I know who you are, you're more than welcome to come in there.
It's quite entertaining in there.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think we survived. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to take an inventory. And,
You did a good job in surviving.
Somebody check on Bill tomorrow. Make sure he's not still in the shower in the fetal position crying.
I'll just be sitting there rocking a little bit.
Because now he has to edit.
I know.
He's going to have a long edit.
Well,
I'm sorry.
it won't be as long as some of Alex's answers, so that'll be fine.
My answers are only as long as a Tool song, not as long as a Grateful Dead song.
I know. I
Ah,
understand.
there you go.
Well, I'd like to thank Amanda for coming on.
Yeah, give credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
And thank you to Donnie for committing podultery. Always awesome.
Hey, somebody's
Okay.
got to do it.
Wait a second. How do you pronounce Donnie's last name?
Petrunak.
There you go.
Well done.
Yeah.
learned anew. We did it good.
I have it in my phone as no truck.
Not a problem. I can do it. And Alex, you're always fun. Next time when you come by and your Miata's broken and you need a part that I literally have 10 of, you can stop and say, hey.
Yeah, that wheel bearing kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, no worries.
That was very interesting.
So, well, we're going to miss you guys. You guys will be at New Hampshire this weekend. And I'll try and get this out in time so you can either listen to it on the way there or the way back. Not you guys, you already had, but you guys, good luck. Drive safe. Have a great race. Say hi to all our friends. We'll miss everybody.
We definitely will, and we will definitely listen because we want to see how censored we do get.
I don't know.
I definitely appreciate the honor, guys. It's been a pleasure on this side of the table too.
Oh, never a problem. You guys are always welcome, and we'd love to have you back on again, Amanda.
Yes.
Wow. Well, we should have you know what? I'm going to remember that. I'm going to remember that.
So, by the way, to give you a visual, Amanda's pointing cross-armed at both Donnie and me laughing.
It's just another normal day.
It's so
Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys coming on, and you're always welcome back anytime.
All right.
that was my motto in high school.
All right.
All right. So, Jen.
Dominating with Dawson.
All right, Ben, we're back again. Guess what?
Hello.
We're going to talk about racing for once. We don't ever talk about racing too much. We talk about it in general, more along the lines of how to get better. But in racing, there's certain things. Some people call it racecraft. Some people call it gamesmanship. Some people call it playing within the lines or between the lines. What are some of the things that you can do that will benefit you and you can learn to do and they'll help you on the racetrack that aren't how your steering inputs are, how your throttle inputs are, how your turn in is? What else could we do?
Well, sure. This is, I was thinking of one of these kind of things just this week, and just in specific is the way you work the flags in racing. The way you are aware of watching the flag stations for caution flags is always necessary for your safety, but you can also use the flags to your advantage in traffic when it comes to monitoring the flag conditions at a restart. Maybe you can get a couple of positions on a restart, watching around the course as cautions come up, so you can maybe take advantage of a caution you see early, and maybe you can get a chance to pit. So maybe you could just being aware of flags can let the guys in the pits know, hey, I see what I think is going to be a full course caution coming up. Like I just saw this thing happen, and I think it's going to bring out full course. So just being aware of the flags and what's likely to happen with emergency vehicles. If you see something that you think is bad enough, like, oh, that car stopped, they're going to have to bring out a thing, and I know I'm within 10 minutes of needing to pit. maybe you can use the flags to your advantage in that way. So there are a few things you can do just by being aware of the flags and race conditions that I think you can use to your advantage. So that's what we're talking about today.
So if you see, double yellow or yellow, it doesn't really matter. Double yellow meaning the whole course, and yellow meaning a segment of the course. If you see the flag stations start to drop, or if you have somebody on the radio saying, "Hey, the flag in turn 6 just dropped," and you're sitting over at turn 1, you know that it's either coming, or at least you're prepared to go, and you're saying try to get a jump on people because you can pass them on the restart.
That's right, and I'm saying just also we can sort of in general be aware of course condition and how it's going to tie into flags. So you can see a caution coming as you see it, and it's going to happen while you're out there. And also, you can be like, I monitor the cleanup as it's happening and be like, all right, I think we're probably a lap or two away from green, and I start talking to my pit, asking them to maybe call the green flag for me, or if it's a lot of times it might be something that's a local yellow, and you can just say, all right, this thing's about to wrap up, and they're going to pull this local yellow flag. It might be a situation also like in Lemons where I don't think Lemons doesn't throw a green flag every time. I think they just pull the caution,
pull it in. Yeah.
So, and I think that's an excellent element of Lemons competition is that you don't really form up behind a pace car. Everybody just slows down, and you just have to ride around watching the flag station, because as soon as that flag disappears, you can hit the gas and go. So I love doing that. Limits traffic and just in race traffic in general. I just want to be more aware of what's happening with the flags and the people around me in traffic, because I'm going to use it to my advantage while they're asleep or just not really as ready to go as I am. So I will pull offline and limits traffic, get out of the way to be able to see the next flag station, because sometimes you come around, there's a second or two where you can't see the next flag station. So I will hustle around. I'll even give myself a gap between the next car so I can run around and minimize the time where I can't see the flag station. Like I'm that much into playing the flag game, especially in Lemons, but all the time. And Champ cars, the same kind of thing where, they'll just kind of the yellow disappear or the green will drop. And so, if you're not on the ball, you can get caught snoozing and miss some positions. But also, like I always say, we're not the guys with the most powerful car. So, any little thing we can do as far as working the flags to our advantage is something that's important for us. So whether if it's a real restart with a green flag or just the flags disappearing, I want to be all over it.
Jennifer, do you use the flags? How much do you use the flags?
I do use the flags, and I find that every time that I go out, I am more aware of the flags. And I got to be honest, in the beginning, it was really hard to focus on that. I mean, I knew that I needed to, but there was so much going on around me. Like that wasn't like that kind of, I just noticed that I'm much more aware of them now. So
you're starting to, let me just clarify. Are you starting to focus on the flags, or are you starting to open your eyes up so that you can see more and you're using a peripheral? Or is it a brain, I'm getting more used to all the inputs and I'm being able to do these things.
Right. I'm just getting more used to, and I guess more comfortable with what's going on around me, that I can focus on other things, because I know Vicki and I talked about early on, there's just so much stimuli coming in. Do you know what I mean? You're, especially at the HPDEs, you're trying to focus on the instructor and what they're telling you, and then the flag stations, and then the other cars that are around you, in front of you, and back of you. So, and then of course, if you're racing, people trying to pass you. So, yeah, when you first go into it, there's just so much that you don't know and are not familiar with. That's not. I mean, they're important, and you do your best to try and see every single one and pay attention, but yeah.
And you're also trying to incorporate all of the stuff that you've learned at the same time. So you're making all these micro decisions as you're driving while you're worrying about all these external inputs coming in at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a lot in the beginning.
It is a lot. And if you're not used to,
don't know how to drive a stick.
Well, not even that, but if you're not somebody who has been into racing your whole entire life and everything's new. When I first started with you guys, I had no idea what the flags meant. It wasn't anything that I was even aware of. So I was learning all of that like the very first time. So
Right.
trying to remember what color went with what, and so it's a lot, like in the beginning. If you don't like grow up in that, or haven't done it for a long time before you get out there.
Sure. Yeah. I'm a hyper keyed in on all this stuff because everything else is pretty automatic because I've been at this for a long time.
Right,
But
right.
when we first start out, we're just trying to keep the car headed in the right direction on the track and live.
Not being a roller chicane.
Yep.
Well, right. Just try to be safe. But yeah, and as you folks are developing, you're starting to be able to do, like Bill started to say, is it this? Are you able to do it because of this? To me, it sounded like it was all those things. Added brain capacity. Your eyes are able to take in and assimilate more things that are happening at the track as they make sense, because you're learning an entire language of competition and track driving. And so a lot of repetition and just comfort level will make it so that you're eventually able to play head games from the best of us.
And that's a good way of putting it. It's like learning another language almost.
Yep.
With everything.
Yeah.
But you really need to, as quickly as possible, you really need to have those flags be automatic. You gotta know, like red, what do I do?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, the reds are the easy ones.
The red, the yellow, the green, and the black are easy, but
It's occasionally when that meatball shows up,
it's
or
when
when
that meatball
that stripe one shows up, you're just like, wait a
the
minute.
blue with the
I'm
yellow.
not used to seeing that.
Yeah.
So that does bring up a point, Ben. You said to use the flags to your advantage when you're racing. So does that mean that you're a strong proponent of driving around the track with the blue and yellow flag out your window?
Just waving it for yourself.
Just
like,
waving it
come
for
on
yourself, yeah.
by. Y'all, come on now.
No. I'm saying those other people, they need to know to get out of my way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Maybe I'll just paint my whole car that color.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. I definitely think that playing the games with the flags, when you get to the level of doing that, you can definitely use it to your advantage, and people will you can make up a lot of spots on people who are snoozing. I think back to when I was racing go-karts. I was racing karts on a dirt oval, and it was just it was direct drive. It was just a big big clutch in one gear, and we would have restarts, and everybody would just line up. Just straight, just one big straight line, like a pencil full of go-karts riding down the track. And I would just duck out so I could see the light. Like everybody, the people were all lined up where you had your helmet right behind the next guy's helmet. They couldn't see the light. I would offset my cart by like half a lane so I could see the light. And as soon as it went green, I would pass 2 or 3 guys. Like every time, nobody ever caught on. Like I am going to pull out a little bit and pass some of y'all. Like I never had the best motor, so usually at least half of them would give me back. But I didn't have much of an advantage, but I would definitely try to use the flag to my advantage. And these dummies I was racing with, I would just shoot by 1 or 2 of them every time. Like, I don't know why nobody else did that. I definitely am a huge fan of playing the flag game.
Okay.
And it helps you
about that.
And it helps you in a DE. Also, as you're driving a DE, one of the things they hammer is you being aware of flag stations. And after you've done enough lemons racing, that is just not even something you have to think about. So you'll never miss a black flag or any kind of cautions like a bunch of DE only jabronis will.
Jabronis.
We had
little PA word for you guys.
With NASA Great Lakes, in order to go from 2 to 3, you have to pass a written test and you have to pass a driving test. But on that weekend, they also have a random black flag test. And if you miss your black flag, you can't advance.
Good. Sounds good.
Yep. But if you drive lemons, you don't miss the black flags. They're like, how'd you see that? I'm like, I drive lemons. My car breaks a lot. I get lots of these. No problem.
But the lemons making the flags such a huge competition element by making the fact that anytime you mess up or miss a flag, that's going to take you off the track, and that becomes an element of competition. Like that can sideline you. It makes you hyper aware of that, and it makes you a safety conscious freak just because you don't want to lose time on the track. But it's another amazing thing about lemons is that it prepares you so well for so much other driving on track and racing. It's a great place to go learn.
Yep. And you will not pass under yellow, and you will not miss a black flag.
Yep, never again.
Nope. Penalty is huge. All right, Ben. Are we done playing with flags?
I'm done with that. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you, Ben. So is this the brain trust for the next race in New Hampshire?
Yeah.
You need another beer?
Sort of. This is 3 different cars convening into one. And
It's better.
yeah.
Better to be convening than careening.
Well, I mean, we're going to try to stay out of one person's car way. I'm going to go ahead and try to prevent another person from going ahead and doing whatever they do. And hopefully we finish the race.
So are we all going to play?
Yes, I think we all are going to play, and I think that was the whole brain behind this. We were actually going to go ahead and we were talking about taking over your podcast and actually making a show ourselves.
It's been done before.
Pirate takeover.
Oh, yeah. No. Mutiny was discussed over a few lunchtime beers and a couple cars and a couple feelings. Donnie, you need to sit closer.
I'm sorry, there's a leg of the table in the way.
You could sit on Alex's lap.
And we talked about the first thing that popped up. He might get very excited about that.
I'm already excited about it.
That's not a microphone, though. I'm just telling you. That's a.
Surprised you can't tell the table's lifting up on this one.
If you sit on Alex's lap, that's a USB microphone. That's the story, and he's sticking to it.
Wow.
I represent that remark.
That's true. That's true.
Okay,
We saw you sleeping outside in Charlotte. We know what's under the blanket.
Dude, can I tell you, that was one of the most comfortable sleeps ever. It was so gorgeous outside, under the stars. How can you not? Plus, I was too lazy to go ahead and build my tent again after breaking it down.
That was quite ingenious, by the way, having that tent set up in the garage in one of the empty bays.
Yeah.
I mean, with all the passing sprinkles, that was quite.
We have pictures.
Yeah.
No, the pictures are great. And actually, showing a few of them might be good. That actually might be the headline banner of this.
Yeah.
But think of it this way. Thank goodness I did it in the garage and not outside, because I could have gone running over by a trailer that hit a car. Which,
True.
by the way,
How is the car?
why don't you describe what the car looked like for a bit?
Know what it looked like at the event.
Because you were making fun of me for what my car looked like. So,
With your pinstripe?
yes.
So he took the junkyard fender, which was black, which matches the car, with a red pinstripe, which doesn't match the car, with the numbers from the junkyard still on the fender, and just drove around.
Which part of this is a surprise to you?
Now you're going to have to pinstripe your car.
It's thus been
Okay.
removed.
Oh, bummer.
I got attacked at the garage yesterday by my whole team, and they pinned me down and handcuffed me to a pole while they went ahead and proceeded to take the pinstriping off and clean the front end and actually make it look nice.
Right up until you said took the pinstriping off, I thought that story was going in a way different direction. And I'm a little upset that it didn't.
Listen, bring out the gift.
Yeah. Yeah,
So that's what happens.
This is one step beyond race bar. Okay. All right, we're screwed.
It's just weekend.
So do I just ask one question and just hang the microphone up and come back in about an hour and a half and call it good?
Depends on what the question is.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. I should have taken a nap for this one, but okay.
Yeah.
You know, we have to keep you on your toes.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
No, but
And we have the guest bird speaking too.
I know. I heard.
Every
Guest
five-
bird.
Yeah, that's the
Yes,
squeak.
bird.
That's the squeak.
What that noise is. It's not like a smoke detector that's dying. It's an actual bird.
Every 5 to 20 seconds, we get a peep. And I think it's a warning sign or a territorial thing.
The nice thing is I'll be able to see it on the sounds, so I can cue everybody up and make sure I keep everybody in line, because every now and then we get people offline. Okay,
All right.
Donnie, we
Let's
were
rock and roll.
going to have you on as a separate entity unto itself, but you kept going on this other podcast, so I didn't feel like doing podultry. You know,
Podultry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I didn't pour myself out to you guys prior.
I mean, listen, if you're going to whore yourself out, we are the appropriate place to be whored too.
Oh,
Well, phones work both ways, Bill.
I know. I know. I just, you were like almost a steady guest there for a moment. I didn't want to, rock the boat and, be one of those guys, but that's fine. Okay.
I don't know
All right.
what's going on.
Miss Vicky,
All right.
I know you know Amanda. Do you know Donnie?
I don't know Donnie very well.
This is
Hi, Donnie. Hi, Donnie.
Jen's just sitting
I
there
guess we're
being
going to learn a
quiet.
little bit more about Donnie
It
tonight.
sounds that way. Amanda,
He's my brother from another mother and my lover.
Look
All
at
right.
Amanda just went, what?
all right. Now
What
listen,
is going on here?
you have to describe somebody besides the bird. Mhm,
I love the bird. We have to introduce the
I
bird.
do.
This is Beaker.
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 I love that.
Does Beaker talk?
He does poorly.
Beaker. Does he know his name?
He does know his name.
Beaker.
How long are you going to do Beaker?
He looks quite
Yeah,
content.
he likes being right there.
In the middle of the
Center of
action.
attention.
He just wanted attention.
That's right. Zoe will be on Vicky's lap soon once she
Yeah.
finds out. When Vicky starts talking like a 3-year-old. Here comes Zoe.
Beaker. Oh, look, oh, he's so cute.
Hey, you. Yeah.
There, he's showing off for you,
And
Vic.
now looking at this.
Stretch. Stretch.
Okay.
Yeah, do the other side.
Wow. Oh, so sweet. Okay.
I guess we're going to do this.
Yep.
Bill, you're just looking at that and thinking, how am I going to reconfigure that?
I just keep looking at the doc going, nope. Well, I asked Amanda that one already.
Never seen Bill
All the
stump.
passes Bill.
Oh, yeah. And we're surrounded. What you don't see right now is we're getting circled by 3 cats that want a lot of attention.
Oh boy.
No worries.
Oh, yeah.
That's all right. I could use all the audience here. We'll get through there. Very well.
Someone had to bring the party to the podcast, so I decided
Okay.
I'd bring the party.
Yeah.
It's sad when
So-
we have more guests than listeners, but
Right.
that's
So
fine.
what are you guys all convening together for?
So I picked up a new trunk for the Miata to go ahead and finally fix the rust spots in the rear end, and it so happened to be located in Medford, Long Island.
Uh-huh.
So it was a perfect day, and we all decided, let's go ahead and grab some drinks, get some lunch. And these two are actually dealing with me pretty well. Most people can't handle me too much, but these two have me on lockdown.
So Amanda, you're in Long Island.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Donnie
Bob,
seems to be everywhere but home.
Donnie, you're over
No,
there too?
everyone else is on one too.
Donnie, you're there.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm technically in Long Island now,
Oh.
but
Are you just there for the ride along? Or you're in the vicinity?
I live in Daytona.
Oh.
Yeah, he's not close,
Okay.
but he never
Yeah,
seems to be
I,
home. So
I hate my house. I've been there for 6 months now.
I don't know
But,
where to go.
But no, I came up to drop off the Lexus that I sold, the LS 400,
Hmm.
to a friend up in Virginia, and then I just carried on up here.
it's a lot of
Because
momentum.
I'm
Road trip.
racing New Hampshire next weekend, so it was easier for me to just come up and bother Amanda for a week than to drive back to Florida and then drive straight to New Hampshire in one shot.
Yeah.
But you forgot the
Yeah,
whole
that's a
other
hike.
part with the trailer.
Yeah, and then she decided to buy a trailer from Florida, so I had to bring that here too.
I'm gonna say your brakes aren't working
Convenient.
very well if you've missed
Yeah,
Virginia
she
and
kept
kept
me
coasting
from,
in the
spending-
island.
Yeah, that would absolutely make sense.
Yeah, she kept me from spending $600 at U-Haul
Oh, okay.
to rent a
Oh,
trailer.
that's easy.
There you go.
Winner,
It
winner.
was a smart move to do it.
So who are you racing with next weekend?
Let's pretend we're having a
I'm
podcast.
racing with the League of Legitimate Nigerian Businessmen, the guys from Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay.
I'm racing with myself.
So we have Nigerian businessmen, me, myself, and Irene. And obviously I'm running with DNF and Ham Motorsports in our Miata.
Okay.
That should be a interesting one. So let's go ahead and let's throw down some odds here, because we have a very cheetah BMW going.
What?
What do we think? Like 1 to 3 odds a BMW wins this race?
Well, Amanda doesn't let anybody else win, so you know.
Sometimes my car lets people win.
There
Yes.
you go. The last time it did.
It's not for lack of trying, though, Amanda. I mean,
Well, now I have, so for this race, I have guest driver. I have a sorry for party member driving my car in
Matt?
this race. Yes.
oh,
Nice.
So I have Matt Frady's
So-
joining Jamie and I, so I will have 3 drivers, including myself.
wow, that's a good
Yeah,
team.
that math checks out.
Yes, 1.
It's gonna be a fast one.
Plus 1.
Yeah,
3.
didn't even need to use the doctorate for that one.
Be right back. Gonna grab something to drink. You guys keep talking about everybody else.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you trying to accomplish something, Bill?
Okay,
Bill's really stumped.
totally caught him off
I've
guard.
Oh yeah.
I've never seen him flustered before.
You know
He's
what?
never had to go get a drink.
I know.
So
Now what do I do?
Yeah,
So
he's
this-
frantically typing right now, rearranging all the questions.
So this was kind of like a last minute filler. This was like a sparked a. We have the showstopper right here.
Somebody wants it. Yeah, somebody's putting on a
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. No, so this was all like a sort of a last minute ordeal. So at lunch today, we were all discussing this and having the laugh of our life. Like, hey, you know something? What would be cool if we went ahead and went on the podcast and just took it over? So it just made sense. And at that point, and came back to Amanda's place, and because I was going to drive another 2.5 to 3 hours to get home from here, to go ahead and get onto my computer, and they offered this computer up.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Well,
So now you get 3
is
for
great
1 and a bird.
And three and a bird.
3 for
and
1. And
stumping
you still pay
Bill, like
Oh.
that's a win.
Oh, I know. Bill's rarely stumped. Rarely is he stumped. I don't know.
I have that effect on women. I've never had that effect on men before.
Oh. Listen, once you have that effect on men, let me tell you something.
Where did he
Oh, it's
go?
eye-opening.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
He went to go get a drink, Vic.
He had a drink. That was.
That's what she said.
He doesn't drink. That's the problem.
Oh, wow.
He'll be back in an hour and a half and just say, okay, I'll go ahead and edit it.
Did he have to go to the liquor store to get something to drink?
Bill doesn't drink. That's the funny
Oh,
part.
man. I hope we're not having a relapse moment here. I know I'm an enabler, but whew.
No, actually, Bill never drank. So he just doesn't drink. But him go.
So this is really serious.
Yeah,
now.
he might have driven him to drink.
I mean, like, this is like DEFCON 5, like,
There he is.
women,
There he is.
hide your children.
What are you drinking?
So things are either going to get really good or really terrifying. Or maybe both.
Both.
It's almost the same.
We'll laugh, we'll cry, it'll be beautiful.
Wow.
So how's that drink, Bill?
I'm thinking about taking up drinking now. But
You know, as an ex-bartender, I have that effect on people, and I'm sorry. It's a bad path to take.
it's okay. It's all right. I'll be all right. No pressure. Okay.
There is no pressure. There's only love here.
I'm
That's right.
I'm well aware. I'm just okay. We're good. My inner planner is
Flustered.
having issues, but I'm okay. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Yes.
There's
He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
How hard
right.
can it be?
Bill.
Yeah.
these are the things, you know, that you have to be ready for these curveballs whenever I'm involved in anything.
He's
And
agile.
he usually
I
is.
know, but I didn't expect it. And then all of a sudden the screen pops up Amanda, and I'm like, what the hell is he calling? Why is he pretending to be Amanda? And then all of a sudden I see Amanda, and I'm like, oh,
That,
okay.
that needs to be the intro to this.
Okay.
That whole segment right there, that is the intro.
Hey, if you saw the doc we use, the first line of it's basically Bill wings an intro. So that's all I got.
Perfect.
All right.
So I think this was the best winged intro ever.
We'll see. We'll see. I haven't wung it yet. Wing, wung, wang.
There's also the secret passcode to get in, and the number is 203 867 5309.
Got it.
You got to ask for Jenny.
She's got your number.
Ask for Al.
What if Jenny was Stacy's mom?
But we already discussed if Stacy's
And
mom
she was
Jenny
Jesse's girl.
and Jesse's girl, but then who's Mrs. Robinson?
I think I better go get a drink.
Jen's just sitting there going,
Whatever.
okay.
By the way, Jen, how are you doing?
All better.
Yeah?
Yep.
I heard last week that you were able to finally lay flat.
Yes.
Okay, so
Well,
now
actually, it was a couple weeks ago, but yeah, 6
you're.
weeks probably.
Oh my God.
That's how long it took.
Oh,
She's got 2
But you're better
HPDEs
now.
this month coming.
I'm all better.
all right, and you're getting
100%.
back in the seat.
2 times.
Sweet,
Yeah, absolutely.
sweet. So what color's the Miata?
What?
You're getting back in the seat, so I want to know what Miata you're getting into.
Oh, the ND, the red.
Oh, I'm so jealous. Oh.
So we're doing the skid pad on the 27th.
Yep.
Oh yes, I'm going to be meeting you guys up at Lime Rock for that,
Yeah.
right?
We'll be
Yep,
there.
I'm going to go ahead and.
I like that skid pad. It's really not a very good skid pad, but it's fun.
So do you want more guests to come and have fun up on the 27th? Because I think we have another party that wants to come. Donnie, are you still going to be up north?
I work from home. I can be wherever I want to be.
So maybe you'll have 3 guests to come join you up there.
That's fine.
I mean, what are the odds they let me bring the Sequoia?
I think that'd be fun. I don't think we're going to be able to get on the track though, because it's a paid private event.
Oh.
But still, we can go up there and be moral support.
All right.
See, this is how parties break out, by the
That's
way.
And
right?
there will be video,
I think so.
so that'll be fun.
Oh yeah.
We can crash your party, what?
All I know is
Love
We're good
it.
up there.
we're doing a
Love
podcast
it.
after, and then we're hitting Don Pepe's in Danbury.
Oh no. Oh,
It's on the way.
you see, Pepe's is great. You guys need to come down to New Haven, and we need to go to Sally's.
See,
Trust me.
See, I do modern.
I like modern, but literally, it's 50 meters
Oh, I
down the
know.
road.
I used to work in North
Can you
Haven.
translate
So.
that into Budweiser cans for me?
All right. So modern of Pisa is about
No,
8.5
you said
plus-
meters.
Oh, Budweiser cans? That comes out to 3,646 Budweiser cans in distance of walking from modern of Pisa to Sally's Pizza.
And then,
God,
and,
I would be drunk between the two, but yeah, okay.
and then Pepe's is about a mile away.
Yeah, okay.
I used to work in North Haven, so I eat there very often.
So there was a beer introduced to Amanda and Donnie today that's actually brewed in North Haven. And the brewery is, what is it? Fat Orange
That
Cat.
orange cat.
Oh, okay.
And the beer is named Baby Pittance.
Ooh.
It's pretty delicious.
And nutritious, but slightly vicious.
That's the best can ever.
I hope it's not using the local water. That's all I'm saying.
But the local water is what makes the pizza great.
Sure.
It's not the contamination in the water, it's the water itself.
Listen,
Well, no, it's the uranium.
I used to walk
That's
across that river. It was not a problem.
You see that?
No.
all the way close.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, the fall on Alex.
Yep.
You see
I
it?
do.
I'm looking
This is
at
how we get broken bones.
Ow.
it. Amanda's like anything with a cat on it, I'm in.
Yeah. I was like, can I have a fat orange cat, please? Like, here.
And a plate of
so excited.
lasagna.
You know, instead of the pop top, instead of the
No,
pop
they
top,
didn't
they
have
should have like a
lasagna.
tail. You got to pull it from the side. You know, just saying. That would be awesome. All right, I'm not scared at all. I'm not scared at all.
All right.
No problem.
We'll rock and roll.
All right,
I
very
heard
good.
it.
Do it, Bill.
Tell yourself that,
You
the
can
more
do
you'll
it.
believe it.
Right.
We bought a pumpkin. You want us to carve a pumpkin for you while we're doing
It could be a
this?
live demo. I mean,
Yeah.
that's fine. I mean, it's better than Jeff Kaplan fishing his underwear off the top of the flagpole. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty good.
I forgot my nut huggers. I left them at CMP.
Matt has extras, I'm sure. Don't worry.
Yeah, he does.
And I have zebra print spandex. if
And
you really
tutus.
want.
Wait a second, we have the tutu show too.
And I have
I've been-
tutus.
I've been threatened to wear tutus for way too long now at this point. Might have to do it.
All right, so at New
Can you
Hampshire, we're all
Carve the
walking around with
pumpkin
tutus
wearing
on. I
the
got this.
tutu.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. So
Oh, and I brought my cape. This is going to be a good look for me.
tutus and capes. Oh, this is going to be awesome. Oh, Halloween, you don't know what you're ready for.
This is the Scared Garage Heroes in Training podcast. No.
I didn't threaten to wear nut huggers under the tutu, but I think I will now.
No. Very well.
Be a cold one.
With zebra leggings.
I'm even happier we're not going to New Hampshire this year. I mean,
Well, come on. We're going to share the love up there.
it's fine. It's fine. We're good. That's this weekend, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Very nice.
Ooh.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Let's give this a run and see how we do with this one. Ay, 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 ay.
Cheers.
All right.
Cheers.
Very well.
Yeah.
If you could
Great.
send over some pictures that we can use, Alex, this time.
Yeah. Wait a second. The ones from last night were not good enough.
Well, they were good pictures. No. So
Yeah, I'll get a few.
cool. Well, we are very bummed. We are COVIDed out this weekend, but
Yeah.
hopefully you guys have a great time.
You guys should just take a selfie right now and send it
Yeah.
over to Bill.
Not very hard to do. How are we going to do this? No middle finger, huh?
No, middle finger.
Wait a minute. Where's the bird?
The
Where's
bird.
the bird? Beaker, where's Beaker?
I put him in bed because he wouldn't shut up. His room.
You took the bird and left us with Alex, though.
Wow.
Trust me, it's a trade we'd rather make too.
Wow. I was about to go with the bird as the word, but now I
Yeah, I
feel.
put the bird to
Wah, wah,
bed.
I can guarantee by the end of the night, Alex will be in a cage.
Well, that's his normal Thursday,
Yeah,
so
I mean, yeah, I'll definitely be in a car with a roll cage. I mean, hey.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
He just lock him in the car trailer.
Oh God.
See, I can't edit this podcast down too much because otherwise it'll be like a 3-minute episode. So I gotta be judicious in my edits. So
That's what she said last night.
awesome, guys! Nice surprise. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, guys.
It was
Thank you.
nice
I
surprise.
figured someone needed to hijack the podcast at some point.
There
Yeah.
you
Well,
go.
guys, hopefully see you soon. All
Yep,
right.
that'll be great. And thank you too,
All
Donnie.
right.
Bye.
Thank you,
Have a great
Donnie.
night, guys.
Boy.
Bye, guys.
Righty.